Josephine Apiere, and provisional member Superintendent Froilan Caturna. We also, and Attorney Dana Rasillo. We also have in attendance the head members of the technical review group and head members of the secretariat.
Thank you. Considering for going to share the their form, age of PGCS now. PGCS SEC number 002
We have one agenda, and that is the pre-procurement conference for the following projects. Procurement of security services for the Port Security Cluster Southern Luzon, and procurement of security services for the Port Security Cluster of Visayas.
Okay, if there are objections, it could be the first item on our agenda, the pre-procurement conference, procurement of security services for the Port Security Cluster Southern Luzon. The proponent ready to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am going to present the terms of reference for the security services for security cluster of Southern Luzon and Visayas.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, terms of reference, procurement of security services for Philippine Ports Authority for security cluster Southern Luzon, comprising port management offices of
Super. I address this to the back. This was previously presented. Do we want a full presentation, or will we focus on the points where we had issues during this? Okay. Okay. Super. Proceed.
Thank you, sir. Port security cluster Southern Luzon, comprising port management offices of Batangas, Marinduque, Quezon, Mindoro, Bicol, Masbate, and Palawan, and terminal management offices, ports under their respective jurisdictions. Objective: consistent with principles of transparency, competitiveness, streamlining and use of technology in procurement, accountability and public monitoring under the Republic Act number 9184 and its revised implementing rules and regulations. These terms of reference shall inform and guide prospective bidders interested in a public and competitive bidding for a contract for port security services in Port Security Cluster Southern Luzon. So, for the scope of undertaking, the contract subject to the desired competitive public bidding under Republic Act number 9184 and its revised implementing rules and regulations includes port security needs of the port management offices, terminal management offices, facilities, units located across Southern Luzon, namely, for port management offices, Bisport, 57 guards, Team Umawan, 9, Team Honblon, 7, Team Otablas, 17, Port of San Juan, 2, Port of Mongulong, 3, Port of Tagan, 3, Port of Nasugbo, 3, and with a total number of 101 guards. For the Port Management Office of Marinduque, Quezon, with a total number of 50 security guards. While for Management Office of Mindoro, there are 95 security guards. While for Port Management Office of Bicol, 88 number of security guards. And then Port Management Office of Masbate, 30 security guards. And then Port Management Office of Palawan, there are 67 guards. So the total security guards for security cluster of Southern Luzon are 431. So facilities, offices, installations, and instructions to be secured under the contract are particularly described and delineated in the facility port layout plans, here to attach and marked as annex A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, sequential. So, but the descriptions of services, the Philippine Ports Authority desires to engage the service of security agency for deployment of 431 security guards through a 1-year contract. The sum of 92,349,789 pesos. Only being the provided for the contract we seek for the purpose of safeguarding and protecting its properties, equipment, facilities, installations, and confidential information, as well as its officers, employees, their visitors, and all persons transacting legitimate business within the premises identified and delineated above Annexes A. against any and all crimes and lawful acts or any act of terrorism within the areas described above, which must be consistent with port facility security plans prepared in accordance with the relevant provisions of the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, as well as the National Security Program for Sea Transport and Maritime Infrastructure. So, minimum track record, considering its basic role in the operations, management and administrations of seaports, the PPP security contractor was completed within the last 5 years from the date of submissions and receipt of bids. A single contract that is similar to the contract to be bid. A similar contract must be seaport or airport security contract, the value of which must be at least 50% of the approved budget for the contract. So, obligations and responsibilities, the contractor shall provide and operate efficient port security plans and services in accordance with the standards prescribed by the PPA and the International and Port Facility Security Code, as well as the National Security Program for Sea Transport and Maritime Infrastructure. Deploy duly licensed security guards as required and who are compliant with the PPA qualification standard as enumerated in Annex B hereof. Provide and maintain the required security service equipment, mobile units, communication units, and gears in ready and operational condition as listed in Annex C hereof. Employ key officers with appropriate training on ISPS code, specifically the Port Facility Security Officer course, and on any two of the following: crowd control management, bomb detection and identifications, advanced intelligence and investigations, and basic first aid. B. Assist in the enforcement of access control and traffic regulations and other security policies, assisting within the port premises and in facilities building, installations, or offices as directed by PPA. Provide at no expense to PPA security training programs for all security guards to be deployed under the contract, such as but not limited to the following: security awareness seminar duly accredited by Office for Transportation Security, knowledge of current security threats and patterns in port facilities, recognitions and detections of weapons, dangerous substances and devices, recognitions of characteristics and behavioral patterns of persons who are likely to threaten security, techniques used to circumvent security measures, crowd management and control techniques, security-related communications, conduct of firearms proficiency training, inspection, control, and monitoring techniques, methods of physical searches of person, personal effects, baggage, cargo and ship stores, basic intelligence and investigation course and report writing, basic knowledge of the meaning of and consequential requirements of the different security alert levels as defined under the ISPS code and National Security Program for Sea Transport and Maritime Infrastructure. PPA reserves the right to review and evaluate the required training programs. Comply with all labor laws, standards, social legislations in favor of the security guards and all in Department Order Number 15016, Series of 2016, in the implementations of the contract and hold PPA free and harmless from any liability arising from the claims by security guards against the contractor. Employ security guards with appropriate training on customer relation. Provide a supervisor for every PO who shall oversee security operations at the expense or overhead of the security services contractor. Increase or decrease such number of security guards after due notice from the PPA. Submit to the PPA detailed reports of undertaking and unusual incidents and such other reports in accordance with the form and frequency prescribed by PPA. Make available at any reasonable time all documents related to the contractor inspection, examinations, and audit by PPA. Assume liability for any or all losses and damages for destructions to property or death injuries sustained by the PPA, its employees, guests, and passengers, which are directly attributable to the negligence, fault, laxity, unlawful act or misconduct of any of its officers or security guards. Provide insurance coverage or pay for life insurance premium for its security guards. comply with all other applicable laws, ordinances, terms and conditions of the contract and applicable rules and regulations promulgated by the PPA. Pay taxes in full and on time. That the failure to do so will entitle the PPA to suspend payment for any services delivered rendered by the contractor. Regularly present to PPA within the duration of the contract a tax clearance from the Bureau of Internal Revenue, as well as copy of its income and business tax returns stamped and received by the Bureau of Internal Revenue and duly validated with the tax payments made thereon. Comply with all the provisions of the contract and contract documents. Non-compliance with or violations of any of its obligations and responsibilities shall be a ground for rescission, cancellations, and or terminations of the contract after due notice. Post the required performance security in sufficient amount for the durations of the contract and in the form of cash, manager's tip, or bond secured from the reputable insurance company duly accredited by the appropriate government agency to guarantee full performance and compliance with every stipulations, terms and conditions of the contract, and adjust the amount of the bond accordingly whenever the number of guards is increased or decreased. For the PPA, shall award the contract for port security services in the port security cluster Southern Luzon for a period of 1 year to the lowest accredited responsive bidder after a competitive public bidding under Public Act number 9184 and its implementing rules and regulations. B. Ensure the availability of funds for security services rendered under the contract. C. After the perfection of the contract and automatic crediting provisions, which shall immediately give effect to the common provisions in which order that prescribe and places in which rates and under which related benefits of security guards shall be borne by the principals or clients of the security services contractor, and the services agreement shall be deemed amended accordingly pursuant to Department of Labor and Employment Order number 150, the 16 series of 2016. Exercise functional and operational supervisions over the security guards deployed under the contract for its proper implementations. Providing coordinations with the contractor, ISP's code-related seminars, port on orientations, briefings, and other pertinent for security trainings updates to security guards under that contract. 8. Provide compensations for overtime services as may be authorized by the head of the responsibility center under exceptional circumstances. Its computation shall be subject to existing labor laws on the basis of no gain, no loss policy under the IRR of Republic Act number 9184. Exercise visitorial power or conduct inspections or audit of the contractor's compliance with existing social legislations or provisions of the contract relating to the welfare of security guards deployed under the contract. Rights of contractor and PPA. The contractor shall financial collect its fees and charge for services rendered as conferred in validated and approved by the PPA, which shall be issued with official receipts by the contractor, which shall be payable every 15th and the last working day of the month following the submission by the agency of the statement of accounts and other supporting documents. Compare or representatives of PPA on issues and concerns pertaining to proper implementations of the contract concerning a particular situations in a particular port. The PPA shall financial to require the contractor to submit supporting documents as basis for payment of services rendered by its security guards and to issue appropriate official receipts to PPA. Operational, supervise the services rendered by and control the conduct of security guards deployed under the contract with a view of ensuring the maximum efficiency in port management operations and management. Administrative, terminate and or cancel the contract as may be provided for therein. Conduct audit in compliance with terms and conditions of the contract. Duration of the contract for security services and for security clusters Southern Luzon shall be effective for a period of 1 year. Venue of action. All actions relating to the contract shall only be executed before appropriate courts in the city of Manila, Philippines. Signed, Froilan Catorla. So, for the annex For Annex B, so qualifications of security guards must be a Filipino citizen, at least 21 years.
Sir, okay na po. Questions na. Questions na, sir?
Sige,
Okay. So with regard to the qualifications of security guards, and then we have many PFOs for evaluation. So how the PWG will conduct, each and every security guard will be evaluated based on the qualifications required as provided in Annex. Bakit ganun ba ang nangyayari? When we do our evaluation of the, pag nag-bidding na po tayo, medyo this is new to me, kaya
Ayun sa ano ma'am, sa once na mag-ano na kung sino yung nanalo ng mga sa Pusqua, nandoon yung mga titingnan natin ng mga requirements. Sa tuwan nila kasi mag-submit din sila ng list of personnel with their itong qualifications sa mga
Going to sir po
o i-determine yung pag kasi makatat sila ng list of personnel doon sa bid documents nila.
Ano po sa list of personnel? List lang yun, as in names lang, walang qualification.
Kasama naman mayroon at saka yung age nila.
Ang post-wash should be sa validation, pero you have to check for it. Since lahat ng qualification ng security guards, kung nilalagay nila yung sa CV nila, dapat siya-check ko.
Yes ma'am. Oh.
during the opening of this, or post-war.
Tapos ko na ma'am. Oh.
Di ba sa engineering organization ng like although there are also few, this one, marami na sila.
Ano?
How do we determine the qualifications during the opening of bids? How do we evaluate whether this service provider or security agent is qualified or not?
Ano siguro ma'am, yung sa yung places yung mga list ng na mga gustong binigay nila ng mga list ng personnel. Doon natin i-subject for sa Pusqua yung pag-determine.
Yung computing daw po sa opening ng bids, paano mo i-determine po kung pasan nila or hindi? Depending lang yung the number.
Ano na lang ma'am, yung isa number na lang ng Kasi later kung natin subject for itong lahat. Medyo masyadong doon na sa qualification pa ng Pusqua na.
During the opening of bids.
Excuse me. Pwede po tanong comment. Sir, Mr. Jeff, pwede po po sa question of normally po kasi yung nagiging procedure yan, after nung procurement ng security services, before deployment, yung mga security guards, tine-check muna yan ng PFO. And then from there, tine-check lahat yung qualifications kung nagpas sila o hindi. And then kung hindi sila magpapas doon sa qualifications na sinet per TOR, hindi namin tinatanggap yun. Inaano na. Basta, yung total number of security guards, makumply yun. Kasi sabihin natin na 20, mag-provide sila ng 20, dapat mag-focus sila doon sa qualification standards na ibinigay ng PPA.
Sir, when we say, let's say, hindi na qualified, we are talking of the security guard. So if the security guard will not be qualified as per the qualification standard, then they will change. Ganun na lang ang mangyayari.
Yes, ma'am.
The service provider will change Mr. X to Mr. Y because Mr. X did not qualify.
Yes, ma'am. Hindi namin tatanggapin. Sabihin namin, palitan niya yan, hindi siya qualified kasi below the qualification standard, hindi siya na-qualified. Palitan niyo ng iba.
Madam Chair, usually yan ang naging practice. But now, nakikita ko ang kabuuan eh. So, if this will happen during the meeting, isa-isayin natin, no one will pass.
Matagal.
Yes. So, this will be done during the Pusqua. Yun lang yung ano, Madam Chair, observation ko dito dahil may question, after, saka natin titignan. So, yun ang mga pipicture ko eh. Sabi ko ganyan, kung kukunin natin yan during the bidding, at talagang isa-isahin natin yung mga kwartya interviewin.
Pero hindi naman kinukulit for the entire period.
Yes.
Kasi nagpapalit-palit yan.
Yes.
So, yung commitment is, for the entire period of the contract, dapat may X number of personnel na mag-meet ng given number. So, yung initial, determination should be conducted during post-qua is just a preliminary determination.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
sir.
at any time, we can replace security guard if they are not qualified, if they do not meet our standard.
Mr.
In,
Chair.
in previous biddings of security, port securities, security services, ano ba yung procedure? Ganun din ba sa during post-qua yung evaluation na during post-qua?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So during sa post-qua may mga evaluation na, may mga ano na, at
So,
saka
may
sa
commitment
during
ng
bidding
personnel
naman,
during post-qua.
so during bidding naman yung pass and fail naman yung ano, kung may manalist sila na yung personnel, so yan, pass sila. Doon ang subject na po.
Yung validation,
Validation.
of the, qualification of the personnel will be conducted during post-qua.
Yes, sir.
So in summary, we will expect during the post-qualification report that this number of security guards either qualified or not in the TOR as provided in the annex.
So if there are security guards who are included in the list, but during post-qua, hindi nagpo-qualify, disqualification yun or for replacement?
So, Madam Chair, yan ang nakikita ko, sir. Yan ang nakikita ko nga, is this, yung ano ba yan na para sa disqualification bidder or replacement lang ng guard? Tama, sir. Yung ba, technical ba yan masyado?
Kasi under the procedure of bidding, yung submitted documents mo, yun na yun.
Yes, sir.
So we can no longer evaluate additional documents.
Yes, sir.
So dapat kung sinabit nila, qualified na.
Yes, sir.
So hindi yung at this stage, hindi pwede natin sabihin pag hindi mag-qualify yun,
Papalitan.
papalitan.
Yun na nga eh.
So yung prudence siguro sa kanila, sobrahan nila yung ibigay nila.
Kasi ang nagiging, sir, usually ang nagiging practice ng araw, ganyan na nga. Pagka hindi namit na requirements, palitan lang agad. Pero nakikita ko ngayon, it's very different.
Pero
Because this is leading. Yes, very different.
Kasi iba yung implementation ng contract, papalitan. Pero iba yung evaluation of whether or not they're qualified to submitting it. If may set number tayo, may set qualification.
Yes.
Pwede yan during opening na we determine the number and a detailed examination of the qualifications during post-qua. Pero we cannot ask at that stage for them to submit additional security guards. Prudent na lang siguro, if we have a set number, well, ako yung security company, I will submit more.
Oh, yun nga.
Kasi okay lang yung sobra, tapos hindi mag-qualify lahat as long as yung X number mag-qualify. Okay, correct?
Yes.
Sir.
Mr. Chair, during POSCA last year with Lucky, the submitted documents is yung lahat ng roster ng list ng cards
So binigay nila lahat?
Binigay nila lahat, sir. So, upon checking, so nandun na lahat.
Basta may X number tayo, okay na tayo. So,
Yes,
they
yes, sir.
required 100, they submitted 200.
Yes.
Basta may 100 pag-qualify, good na tayo doon.
Okay.
Clarify ko lang. Kasi yung sa, once na nag-submit ako ng bid, I'm a bidder. If I submitted, what is required is just 138 for example for, it was Guimaras. If I submitted more than what is expected for me to submit, computed ko yan sa aking ABC. So pag nanalo ako, since yun yung kinumit ko, yun yung i-deploy ko. So dapat yun, lahat qualified. Not necessarily X. 138 lang yung...
Pero kung i-word niya na I will commit 100 out of, tapos from this pool.
Kasi
Hindi, hindi ko yung mga pangalan.
No, nandun, no.
We have to
Hindi, so
follow
mangyayari
what the
dito,
qualification.
yung ginamit nila from the very beginning, yan dapat until the end.
Not necessarily. Kasi pwede namang i-replace. Pero during the evaluation, dapat yun yung i-evaluate natin. At yun yung sa subject or cost qualification.
Yung set number lang.
Oo. Pero
That's
during the
correct.
implementation, as you said, sir, pwede nilang i-change
Okay, that should be clear. Kasi
Oo.
if previously that was a practice, baka yan ang mangyari sa atin ngayon. So during preview, that should be clear na the submitted list should be equal to the number na nire-require ng agency, and that all of those must be qualified.
Yes.
Kasi kawawa naman din ang DWG kung ganun kadami ang evaluate nila over and above what is required.
Kung gusto ng security guard nila,
Dami.
Hindi, i-incumbent upon them, kasi sila naman ang lumalapit sa atin na goods and services nila na evaluate nila, magtatap sila ng pre-evaluation sa kanila, and they submit only what is required.
Parang tayo pa yung mag-evaluate kung among the pool of security guards. I don't think that should be the case.
Just to establish na meron silang X number of personnel within the
These are my qualifications, and then you choose from among your 500 security guards, the 101, that will be the 20 plus. Ako, that's how I understood.
Or, pwede ba natin ilagay? Kasi understandable naman na nagpapalitan.
Oh,
I-require natin sila na meron silang X number over and above just to establish na meron silang qualified na pwedeng ipalit.
Yes.
Should be decided for replacement.
But that's already in the implementation.
During
Hindi, pero yun nga, kung halimbawa may mag-bid out, may lumapit sa atin, re-require natin is lahat-lahat ilan ba ito? 431. Pero yung number of personnel nila 431 lang.
Sa taas,
Hindi,
yun ang
hindi,
video.
kung meron tayong papapalit, kasi wala na sila. Wala na sila. So, dapat, understandable na well, there's a large possibility na may papalitan. So, dapat may
Clear
reserve.
naman.
Parang meron
Sir,
din.
clear naman dito sa page 4, item C, provide and maintain the required security service, deploy duly licensed security as required. Dito, sa critical. Dapat siguro ilagay natin, sorry kasi akala ko yung maintain the required security. Complement dapat sasabihin na natin na i-maintain nila. Kasi baka mamaya magkulang during sa implementation.
Ayoko na dyan sa Batangas. Malipan niya sa Palawan.
Di ba dapat you found Mr. X in accordance while implementation?
Hindi, so yung sa B, dapat deploy and maintain. Para hindi na natin, hindi na i-copy sa atin na mag-required may sobra.
During the opening of this, they have to provide this number
Yes.
of
Hindi, for determining whether na the technical, they pass the technical specs, we will determine yung number lang.
But during the
Pero dapat nakalagay na din doon yung qualifications nila. Kung hindi isa-isa yung qualification, this will be reviewed during post-back.
Then what if, let's say one from among, hindi qualified? So, ano naman?
Disqualified.
Just one lang.
Yes.
Hindi, kasi we have a set number.
Yes,
Yung in-offer niya sa atin kulang. So, since kulang, hindi natin pwede tanggapin.
Pero, sir, may sinabi ka naman na kung halimbawa 431, and then meron mga replacement.
Hindi
sila pwede, sila pwede.
Hindi, pero yun nga, yun yung discussion kanina na may valid point na if may requirement tayo and I offer more, pwede yun. Pero we will expect na ibigay mo yung more.
Yes.
Hindi, so ibig sabihin, let's say, 431. They submit 450. Parang yung bid nila is, they offered for this amount, 450. So yun yung bid nila, yun yung offer nila noon for this amount. So technically, kulang yung pera para sa number of personnel. okay lang sa kanya, bahala siya, basta. Pero yun yung mangyayari doon. Kasi kung i-review yung documentation, they will say, oh, yung tinanggap yung bid was 450 or magkano ba to? Oh,
92.
oh, bakit ang dineploy lang 431? Eh sabihin, kasi sa technical, 431 lang hiningi natin. Hindi, pero yung in-offer nyo 450. So dapat 450 ang ibigay nyo.
Sir, teka lang. So, let's say post 1 na tayo ha. We will evaluate the 431 total. That should be evaluated back to 431. Kung 430 lang yung na-qualify, ano disqualified?
Tanong ko lang, sino ba tinawag natin?
Sila
lahat.
Okay.
Meron na kayong list kung paano nyo i-evaluate? Na-sample na kayo na paano yung form for the evaluation?
Para standard control.
Meron namang ano ma'am, yung during previous na mga bidding, may form sila, may template sila sa yung yung evaluation. May parang may mga may mga form na mga ano doon. I think pareho din siguro yun yung ano na yun.
Okay, ano lang po kasi marami na kasing amendments.
Sige ma'am.
Baka hindi na siya applicable.
Sige ma'am, ano namin.
Para sure lang tayo sa opening of bids, paano nyo i-evaluate? Tapos sir, tanong ko lang ulit. Yung sa number of, yung sa Annex C, yung headgear okay na tayo. Tutugma na siya yung number of personnel. Pero yung yung gun, yung pistol, hindi ko pa rin makuha yung formula kung
Yung yung number of number of posts sa post ng PIMO, number of posts. Yung yung assignment nila, yung area nila kung saan sila nag-secure.
Matanong natin, sir.
Ah,
Halimbawa dito sa head office,
Hindi,
Sabi-
pagkuhan niyo po dito, base dun sa, sa,
Okay, give an example. So ilan yung personnel sa Mananga?
sa Batangas kasi is 101. Pero ang
Pistol is 46
46.
and there's 13. Sinasabi nyo, yan yung mga post na minamahin ng tao. So hindi ibig sabihin 1:1 yung baril, pero habang nag-duty sila, iba rin sila.
Yes.
So yan yung, so ano bang mangyayari niyan? May pistol and may, iba yung may
Shotgun.
pistol and may shotgun? Or, so ibig sabihin there are 59 posts? Or does that mean there are 46 posts, yung iba lang ay may pistol and may shotgun?
ang kadalasan niyan sir na may kasama din sa itong na post na may shotgun at saka yung parang additional firepower din ng yung
Hindi, so mangyayari dyan, there are 46 posts.
46 posts.
So yung may 13 posts lang dyan na may shotgun kasama.
May sa sa taga-Batangas.
sir, sa kadalasan, sa 24 hours, one alarm. Kasi three sila eh.
Hindi nga, sa post na yan, that's
Oo,
okay.
sa post.
So mangyayari, nagpapasahan ng baril per post.
Yes.
Tinatanong ko lang, does that mean may pistol and may 13 areas lang na may shotgun?
Depende sir. Sometimes, may post na kailangan ng shotgun. So, naka-reserve yung shotgun doon.
Ayun nga, so ibig sabihin, there are only 46 posts talaga. Tapos may mga posts lang na may pistol and may shotgun. So technical, so based on that, sa Batangas, there are 13 posts which requires a pistol and a shotgun. Ano yung mga posts na yan?
May ano dun sa isang ano natin na bid documents naka-specify sir yung yung specific na post kung saan nakalagay itong yung mga equipment.
So tayo, any type of pistol, any type of shotgun ba?
Pwede sir na.
wala siyang
Wala specific na.
So during post, mabibilangin niyo ba?
Yes.
Ano lang, sir, kasi di ba nag-procure din tayo ng mga security equipment, and then yung K9.
Yes ma'am.
Sa item C kasi, sa page 4, letter D, employ key officers with appropriate training on ROCS, etc. Crowd control, bomb detection and identification. I would assume na ito, dapat may hand-in-hand, parang may tandem, kung may K9, at saka yung security guard may nagba, o different ano yun. Iba yun, kakaiba. Kasi considering na we are procuring many security equipment, security. So how these security guards would now, coordinate in tandem with all these security?
We have also K9 in our team. Yung K9, may sariling trabaho. At yung gwardiya, ang ini-implement niya doon sa gate, yung ating rules and regulations, yung pass control system, yung paano yung mga pagkocontrol ng mga cars, mga sasakyan, yan ang plano. However, itong K9 natin, sila nagpapaniting. So, hindi naman kailangan sumama yung gwardiya doon. Nagpapaniting palagi yung mga aso namin o sa Tacloban. Tapos, yung gwardiya, kung doon sa may aso na, in-inspection pa ng under chassis mirror yung mga sasakyan doon. So, hindi po pwedeng hindi tumaan sa gwardiya yung sasakyan. Yung mga aso naman kasi at trabaho nila, magpanitin lang. So, walang conflict. Yes, madam.
So, mangyayari dyan, pwedeng, alimbawa sa isang urban, let's say 6 to next week, pareho lang sila lahat ng sa isang area na, kasi N2. So, kung crowd and bomb, pero walang iba na advanced intelligence and basic processing, okay lang yun. Kasi N2. Hindi ba importante yung apat na yan sa isang deployment area?
Bihira din
Sir,
siya.
Ang nakalagay rito, employ key officers. So, either the supervisor or the attachment commander.
So, mangyayari may areas na walang expertise yung key officer sa... So, may areas na walang expertise yung key officers sa all four.
May possibility.
May possibility na
So, hindi important sa atin na yung i-deploy nila per area, dapat ma-cover nila yung all four.
Yes.
Kasi nakalagay dyan, 82.
82.
So, dapat provision tayo na in any area, dapat may expertise in all four.
At saka, nakalagay dito.
Ilan ba yung key officers na yan per area?
Yun na nga, hindi naka-identify dito. Ang key officer is the detachment commander.
Dapat na-identify.
Three supervisors.
Tapos, okay, so dapat din identify, and kung lima yan, na these five should have expertise among them, all four. Kasi mahirap naman, if we require this as an appropriate training, dapat siguraduhin natin na may expertise in all four aspects. Kasi kung halimbawa, yung pinadala na lima nga sila, any two, 1 and 2 lang, walang expertise sa 3 and 4, paano yun?
At saka sir, pwede pong bawasan na lang ito, kung ang any na lang, huwag na yung any pwede bang isa na lang, may space na nga siya eh.
Hindi, pero mangyari yun, we want all four.
Eh kung dalawa, ha?
Hindi ko sinasabi na isang tao apat. Sinasabi kong lima yan, dapat ma-cover
Pwede
nila yung
na
apat.
Oo.
Ma-cover nila yung apat.
Out of 5 key officers.
Out of 5 key officers, ma-cover nila yung 1, 2, 3, 4.
Kaya nga sir, yun din ang ano ko, kung halimbawa, kung isa lang, pero may kanya-kanya silang specialization.
Yun na. Pwede, basta ma-cover nila yung all four.
How will you count that on the per port or on the totality of the
Hindi, per area.
FPM.
Per PM? Kasi for example, in Port of Ambulong, you only require 3. So what are the qualifications of these 3?
May
All
key
of
officer
them
ba
are
to?
key officers or
May key
Hindi na.
officer.
Ang kadalasan ako sa mga
All ko, export.
So walang key officer, hindi. Not necessarily may key officer dun sa...
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Pwede naman silang pumunta roon eh.
Yung itong kadalasan sa itong mga key officers, ito yung nag-supervise din sa mga gwardiya na naka-deploy. Not necessarily na kasama sila sa deployment ng ano ng
Hindi, pero sino ba yung nag-i-inspect kung may bomba o wala? Sino ba
yung gwardiya sir.
guard? Yung guard, hindi yung key officer.
Hindi
No.
sir.
So, anong silbi sa akin kung marunong mag-identify yung key
Yes.
officer pero hindi marunong yung guard?
Wala nga.
Itatawag niya sa key officer na
Sir, nagbuka pa rito. Yun na, isang
Actually, sir, doon sa, sir, doon sa required trainings na i-provide doon sa space awareness for all security personnel yon. Yung training na yun, sir, lahat ng example sa bomb detection, ano na lahat tinuturo. So, presume na yung mga naka-undergone ng mga security guards sa training na yun, alam na nila yung basic requirement as to handle yung mga bomb scenarios na ganap.
Presumption lang yun eh, kasi dito meeting kailangan sa papel. Kailangan nasa papel. Yun ang naroon. Ngayon, kung halimbawa, katulad yan, orientation tayo ng map identification, just like us in Davao. But included ang gwardiya rito, no? Kasama ano. But the guards, hindi lang binibigyan ng certification yan eh. Only personnel from PPA. Yung participants. Sinasabi lang namin sila para maging aware sila at alam nila, ma-identify nila yung mga bomba. Pero they are not included in the SO. Kaya kulang sila ng papel. Pero alam nila, identify yung bomb. Kasi sila number one ang target namin.
Hindi, kasi sa akin, it doesn't have to be kasi they're offering these personnel to us and we require certain skills.
Yes.
Hindi naman sa akin na may QS tayo, ano yung qualification natin?
Ito.
Ito.
At least,
Hindi ba natin i-require na may training sila ng bomb identification, ganyan?
wala rito eh.
The way I understand it, based on this TOR, you have all these qualifications of security guards in Annex B, which will be used in the evaluation. And then, once we already, pag meron ng winning bid, that's the only time that you will provide a training program as provided in page 4, letter F. Hindi. Provide at no expense to PPA, security training programs. So ito, I assume itong provision na to, kasama na doon sa contract nila sa atin. When we have chosen the winning bidder. Yun ang mangyayari.
Yun
Dito
ang
sa TOR,
natin, nangyayari, yes.
sa per TOR.
Nangyayari ba yan?
Sa
In practice?
During implementation.
Hindi, so ibig sabihin, off the bat, hindi natin i-require na may, kasi okay, may sinasabi kayo may training yung security guard. Bago sila pwede maging certified security guard. Ano ba yung training na to?
Yes, sir. Demarcation.
Di, anong training to? Kasama ba dyan yung bomb? Baka naman kasi cover na yung bomb.
Yun, sir, Mr. Chair. Yung bago sila ma-issue ng security license, so they will undergo training sa Krage, sir. So dun yung nakasabi sa program nila, so it includes all this,
So bakit
yung
yung
awareness.
security guard, so wide scope yan, yung training na yan. Eh bakit sa key personnel, nagre-require lang tayo ng in any two? So I assume yung trainings na nire-require natin sa key personnel, may aspects na yun nakasama sa security guard training.
Sir. Kaya natin na-require yan. Because kung halimbawa kailangan na ma-identify or whatsoever na ito, may ikaw ng motor management, advanced intelligence investigation, basis person, at least merong may alam.
Hindi.
Meron
Hindi ba
may
to-
alam.
Hindi ba to, hindi. I understand
Oo.
that. Pero itong aspects ba na to, hindi to kasama sa basic security guard training?
No.
No, sir.
Yung
So,
bomb detection and
no,
identification.
no, no.
So ano ba yung nasa security?
Specialization.
So ano bang training na binibigay in order to become a certified security guard?
Basic.
What is basic?
Basic, magmarcha, gun handling, firing.
Hindi. So anong ginagawa sa nag-i-inspect ng mga militar binabang may bomba? Hindi pala niya alam kung paano i-identify.
Yun na nga. Magkakaroon ulit ng retraining sila sa kanilang kumpanya.
Pwede
Para
ba
lang
require beforehand na ano
Pwede siguro sir, isama natin dyan, itong sa security guards, yung ano bang na-detection and identification seminar.
Exactly. Kasi yung mga security guards naman
Oo.
i-offer dito, hindi naman to mga bagito,
Mga ano sir, oh.
So, matagal na itong security guard.
Oo.
So, is it
Actually,
too
sir,
much to ask na i-require na natin na meron na silang particular trainings?
hindi, mas okay yan sir. Okay yung ano. Kasi actually itong mga gwardiya ngayon, mayroon na talaga silang basic training on bomb and identification. and
I-require na
detection.
natin.
Pwede sir, isama na natin.
Pero, Sir Al,
Hmm.
tanungin mo yung guardian dyan na nag-ano ng ostrich mirror. Kilala mo ba ang pump? Pag may nakita siya rin sa ilalim na sa chassis, ano ba kung pump yun o hindi?
Kaya that's why,
Sasabihin niya hindi, sir.
that's why yung ano, yung pwede
Kahit sa airport,
Mhm.
ilang beses ako nagtanong. So, kailangan dapat talaga, ito, bago pumasok sa PPA, meron na sila nito, hindi
Yun,
tayo
yun,
mag-titray.
yun ang
Kasi
ano natin.
walang silbi sa atin.
Ang ginagawa natin, tayo ang nag-titray sa kanila. So,
Meron
during,
tayong security na hindi
before the
effective.
meeting, meron na dapat sila nito. Itong mga ito.
Pwede naman sir, pwede naman ano.
Oo.
Magbigay kayo ng list of competencies na require natin na kailangan ng security guard.
Yes.
Hindi naman kailangan sa lahat. Kasi may naman tayong deployment area. So yung mga entrances and egresses, so siguro yung detection, etc. Para mag-complement naman din yung baggage x-ray natin. So hindi lang yung tumitingin, hindi naman alam anong hinahanap.
Kasi, look, sir, K9 is different tungkol sa gwardiya.
Iba yung
Iba ang trabaho ng K9 namin doon kaysa doon sa gwardiya ko. Oo.
So i-focus mo, ano ba talaga ang gano'ng trabaho ng security? At anong
For the building, meron sila nitong
hindi, I'm sure kaya niya ibigay na
No.
nabigay na yan sa mga...
Yes, ano sir, pwede natin sir isama na lang dito sa
With certification yun ha.
Automatic yan. Kasi
Okay,
when
okay.
we validate, dapat nandun yung...
Especially ngayon.
Pwede siguro.
Tanong ko lang dun sa description ng services sa page 3. Kasi meron din parang kasama sa services na provide ng security guard is yung safeguarding ng confidential information. Does it include it?
Anong page yun ma'am? Anong
Page
page?
3 po.
It's item
Item
Item 3.
Safeguarding and protecting confidential information.
Protecting properties.
Tapos,
Ano ito ma'am ito yung pinaka parang objective nito eh.
kung nga po, kasama po yung confidential information. Kasi safeguard nila. I just don't know paano nila to. Paano to yung implementation nila for confidential information?
Huwag chismoso.
Oo.
Walang chismoso. Ang meron pa dyan, ano nila mag-umpisa ng space. Nagkakakulong tuloy ang mga empleyado.
Sir, another thing yung
Excuse me, ma'am, and with regards to confidential information, I think the basic dyan is yung mga collection of mga documents covering this kind of reading, which yung mga other agency just cannot collect and check that. Hindi pwedeng bigay sa kanila. dapat na hindi nyo pinaprotektahan ng mga security natin sa needs. Thank you, ma'am.
And also, including the information indicated on the security plan. Kasi on in the day-to-day discussion, kasama yung mga security guards doon sa information from the security plan. And the security plan is a classified information, a classified document. Dapat hindi nila i-label sa ibang hindi naman authorized na entity.
At saka, madam, tama ito, maraming gwardiya ang disposo. Sa totoo lang, sa kanila nag-uumpisa ang gulo. Ha? Dito lang nagkakagulo sa Tarpon. Dahil
Na-scandal na ba kayo ngayon?
wala naman. Wala naman. Eh, sa kanila nag-uumpisa ang gulo eh.
Chismis niya ito.
Chismis. Kaya nga, chismis.
Alam, sir, yung ano lang, yung sa ABC, baka ma-question ulit tayo sa how they come up with the ABC. Hindi namin makita yung breakdown.
Sir, pakiprovide
Pakiprovide yung breakdown ng ABC kasi required dito yung ano, yung overtime, I think 12 hours yung kanilang ano. How did you compute for the...
Tsaka nag-differential.
Oo. Included na to sa ABC. Gusto lang kaya makita yung breakdown.
Sana.
Ng ABC, number of nursing employees ko, yung...
Ano, madam, kasi per region yun eh. Sa...
Yung breakdown lang po.
Oo.
We just need yung breakdown ng
Dapat may breakdown naman yan.
Hindi naman ilagay dito yung breakdown but for
Di
our
ba may breakdown?
consumption.
Sige ma'am, we will pang
Tapos sir, yung for security
Oo.
purposes,
Oo. May breakdown tayo nun eh.
Security plan.
oo. Ay, hindi po. Plan lang po, hindi pa.
Yes ma'am, ano lang. Kasi may isang ano lang po siya na mag-ano siya, mag-prepare siya ng security plan. Based on the sa mga courts.
Because after pay,
Security inspection.
Not necessarily approved pa naman.
Hindi pa matisal yan.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
sa malinaw ng sa evaluation, qualifications,
Malinaw na yung security confidentiality ah.
Mga statong kayo?
Yes, sir.
Sinong acting sa inyo? Yes. Okay na lahat. Salamat kay Kate. Huwag mo kalimutan na
Ako
yan.
magre-retire na. May retiring next year.
Kailan?
Next year.
Acting ba kayo?
Lulay ako.
Acting ba kayo?
Acting.
Hindi ko yung acting. Yung mga acting.
Retire boss. Retire boss.
o paano, so yun, okay na.
So i-ano na namin sir, yung sa tungkol sa requirements, i-ano na namin yung ano yung requirements sa itong bank identification and detection. Yung compulsory requirements sa mga
May
training.
ng mga compulsory requirements sa training. And ano yung paano
Pwede siguro yung ano, security awareness for security personnel. Yung security awareness.
Those training is given by the PPD staff.
Hindi, yung parang magiging ano, parang magiging requirements.
Sir.
Sa ano natin.
Bahala yung security agency dyan kung ano ang
Yun
gagawin
nga,
nila dyan.
yun nga, ayun ang iano natin kasi ito kasi yung security awareness na seminar, yun ang palaging findings ng ano ng Office for Transportation Security na hindi natin naibigay yung training sa mga ano. So kung ito na pwede natin isama para yun ang magiging ano body ng security provider na sila na talaga magpa-provide ng training. Bago ay deploy nila sa PPA, ano na sila sa ng ODS.
Marami tayong security guards ngayon. So malamang itong mga providers ngayon, sila din ang magbibid ngayon. Eh kung hindi nila kaya ibigay na by may training yung mga security na i-offer sa atin, ibig sabihin yung mga ka-deploy sa atin ngayon, walang alam mo na. Eh, mali na mali.
For Mr. Chair, if I may, siguro for purposes of evaluation, to make it standard, siguro mag-set kayo ng, I don't know, number of hours of that particular training that you want to be included in the requirements. Parang walang, kasi sabihin,
bakit yun, kailangan very specific when we evaluate so that pare-pareho yung tingin natin dun sa lahat ng qualifications.
And then, in a perfect world, dapat lahat ng trainings na pinapabigay natin na i-deploy, nandun na from the very beginning. So, yung
Nandun
okay
na,
na sa inyo kung i-require pa natin lahat from the very beginning or certain number from the very beginning.
Ano siguro sir, yung sa tingin ko sir, yung native na ano na isang medyo kailangan natin yung itong bomb identification, identification criminal, at saka itong security awareness.
Nandito pa yung ganda mo firearm proficiency training eh. Sa akin, ibibigay mo na ng baril eh.
Ano na mo sir? Actually sir, sa
Anong overlap doon sa basic training?
Sir, suggestion, kung alisin na natin itong iba nito yung crowd control management, ano natin talaga doon sa bomb detection and identification,
Hindi, yan kasi yung sa
intelligence investigation.
Hindi, yan ang
Given na nga.
yan yung key officers. Yung pinag-usapan natin yung sa training ng mga security guards.
Yun lang ang ano natin dito.
Hindi, you discuss among yourselves and then you come up with a standard and then you present it. Kasi other than that, and you break down regarding paano na-come up yung budget, madali na yung sunod, kaya-kaya na yan. Anong stress na doon?
Actually, we always make the point that when we evaluate, we have a standard format so that at the end of the day, walang yung bakit ito, bakit ganyan, you know. So isa lang yung tinitingnan natin for all.
Actually, mahirap lang dito sa simula kasi this will become a pattern for some teaching procurement. And this is also one reason bakit sinetralize para isa lang pinag-uusapan. So, hindi nangyayari na iba yung go to a different area, iba yung terms of reference nila, hindi standard yung mga personnel natin. So, yun lang.
Parang hirap sagutin pag
Bakit dito ni-require? Bakit dito?
So yun naman sir, ang ano natin sir, yung sa, we will discuss with the yung tungkol sa ano sa talo, yung additional training siguro na yung required trainings para sa mga gwardiya.
Okay. Sige. Regarding yung presentation sa Visayas, sabay na siguro sa number naman kasi we're looking at the general
Almost the same naman sir na
Almost the same.
Sir, sa Visayas lang. Parang meron yata question doon sa number dun sa rating. Kasi yung nakalagay sir, total is 88. But if you will compute it, 87 lang po.
i-validate yung numbers.
Sige sir, sige sir.
Yan, Mr. Davis, 88 po yan. Pero pag i-compute ko lahat yan, 87 na po yung lahat.
May ghost security guard.
33, 43, 52, 60, wala.
Okay, kasi marami yung ghost.
Sige, i-alam namin.
Tama. 7 lang.
Okay. Hindi, present mo lang.
I represent all.
Hindi, kasi we need to make sure, kasi critical to sa evaluation yung training. Okay? Sige. Thank you.
Sige sir.
Another.
Only for those items that,
So focus tayo sa ano yung qualifications ng security.
Yes sir.
Sa key personnel and yung sa
ABC,
security guards, ADC, yung breakdown ng ADC.
Ito yung i-ano namin sir. We will submit it tomorrow sir.
And schedule na, present ko na pabilis mo.
Sige.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Sige. Thank you.
Sir Froilan,
Ah.
yung baseball Tacloban, 20 lang nilagay rito, approve dyan 21.
Okay.
Kaya kinapos ng isa. Kaya kinapos ng isa. 87 lang nakalagay rito pag tinotan mo. 20 lang ang na-type. Post ko 21 yan.
Sige.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, Madam Secretary, anything else? Okay. See you during lunch. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Minasya kukunin.
Last item sa
Hindi ko pa
I-review sa takloman. Kasi di ba si Rapi? Di ba yung si Rapi? Eh wala na si Rapi kaya Anong oras po tayo na namin? Kaya nga po, balikan natin.
Yung ginagawa pa yung plastic. Pero nung itsura nun,
Hindi ba sa hindi ba sa inyo? Kasi hindi mo lang alam istorya pare. Ano mo yun? Ano? Yung kwento yata ng PM ko. Ah, gano'n? Oo. Yung PM ko, maano rin eh. Dapat yun ang security.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. We have a forum with attendance of the following back members. Attorney Martin Palomar as chairperson, Ms. Angelina Joseph vice chairperson, Attorney Dana Ramirez, Ms. Josephine Antiere, regular member, Mr. Herbacio Balagpa, provisional member and user from ICT. Likewise, we have in attendance the head members of the technical working group and the members of the back secretary.
Thank you. But you for going to chair to the forum A, PTS number 029-20 Council. That's a good time to do a session today.
We have 8 items under our agenda, Mr. Chair. The approval of minutes of the previous bank meeting, HBAC PTCS number 027/2019, dated 14 June 2019. Number 2, presentation and approval of the technical bid evaluation results for the procurement of technical support services for PPA score application system. Number 3, opening of financial bids and identification of the highest rated bid for the procurement of technical support services for PPA support application systems. Number 4 is the bid evaluation report for the procurement of furniture and fixtures for Cagayan de Oro Passenger Terminal building. Number 5 is the pre-procurement conference for the procurement of administrative support manpower services for PPA and office responsibility centers and projects. Number 6 is the pre-procurement conference for the procurement of administrative support manpower services for PPA port management offices Luzon cluster. Number 7 is the pre-procurement conference for the procurement of administrative support manpower services for PPA port management offices Visayas cluster. And number 8, the pre-procurement conference for the procurement of admin support manpower services for PPA port management offices Mindanao cluster.
Thank you. And if there's objection, let's proceed to the first item on our agenda, the approval of Excel sheet plan.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the minutes of the previous back meeting, headoffice PCS number 027-2019, held on June 14, 2019.
It has been moved again to approve the resolution acting to position there being back meeting issue back meeting series number 067-2019 held at 14, 2019. We hereby approve as presented as stated in the next item on our agenda, the presentation approval of technical evaluation results for the procurement of technical support services for the import authority and qualification system.
Sasabihin talaga eh. Working days.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Good afternoon. This is the okay. This is for the procurement of technical support services for the Philippine Ports Authority for application systems. The technical evaluation has two criteria for diverse for the technical plan of approach and methodology, which is 40%, and quality of personnel to be assigned, which is 30%. We rated the plan of approach of diversified infrastructure and architectural development works and development corporation with a rating of 34%, and the quality of personnel to be assigned, which is 29.82%. And the total weight of the technical is 68.82%. We declare it as passed.
Okay, technical working group.
The technical working group recommends that the technical proposal
of Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works and Development Corporation be declared as passed.
Mr. Chair, I move that DWD recommendation and declare as passed the technical proposal of Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works and Development Corporation be adopted.
Let's take a look at the presentation by overview. Commissioner. The technical proposal of Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works and Development Corporation will be declared as passed. Let's proceed with opening the section.
Mr. Chair, the financial proposal of Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works Corporation complied with our, is compliant with the bids, requirement of bid submission. It contains, one original and 6 duplicates, all hardbound, homebound, properly labeled with index tags. It conforms to the requirements of bid submission and hence acceptable decision.
Thank you. And is there objection to adopting the findings of the report? Good morning. I have before me the original financial results presented by Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works Corporation for procurement of technical support services PA4 Okay. The attached financial proposal is for the sum of 11,599,239 pesos and 84 centavos. This amount is exclusive of the local taxes, which they estimate at 1,391,980 pesos and 28 centavos. Ito na. Diba? Okay. So, total amount of financial proposal is 12,991,146 pesos and 62 centavos.
62.
Kulang.
Kulang. 12,999.
Tatlong 9 po.
Isa pa.
Kasi wala naman sa
991. 12,991. 148. 60.
Oo. Siya na yung peso.
Mr. Chair, the PWG recommends that the financial proposal of Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works and Development Corporation be declared as passed.
Mr. Chair, I move that the PWG recommendation declaring as passed the financial proposal of the Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Corporation be adopted by the committee.
It has been moved and seconded without recommendation of technical committee group in opposition thereto. There being none. Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works and Development Corporation is years of past financial requirements. Technical committee group, please. Automatic declaration for procurement of furniture and fixture for Against Oro, passenger terminal.
Mr. Chair,
One moment.
sir, we will compute first the total rating for the technical and financial.
Okay.
Hindi, yung itong the total rating for both technical and financial proposals is 93.82%, which means that Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works and Development Corporation is the highest rated bid for this procurement. Single highest bidder for the
Mr. Chair, the PWG recommends that Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Works and Development Corporation with a total rating of 93.82% be declared as a single rated bidder.
Mr. Chair, I move that PWG recommendation stating that Diversified Infrastructure and Architectural Development Corporation is declared as a single-rated bidder be adopted.
Second.
Let's move to the second, implementation technical group and decision. There being none, diversified infrastructure and architectural development works and development corporation, trigger the single rated bidder. Please proceed with the evaluation technical. Let's proceed to the next item. The bid evaluation report. Technical report.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
Bid evaluation report on the procurement of furniture and fixtures for Cagayan de Oro Passenger Terminal Building under BAC TCS 00-2019. The approved budget for the contract to be bid as published and advertised is 23,747,965 pesos and 20 centavos. The invitation to bid for the procurement of furniture and fixtures for Cagayan de Oro Passenger Terminal Building was advertised in a newspaper of general nationwide circulation on May 23, 2019, and simultaneously posted in the website of the PTA Builder and at a conspicuous place at the PTA premises of previously for 7 calendar days. In response to the invitation to bid, two bidders, Asahi Design Center Incorporated and Progress Home and Office Furnishings, secured the bid documents in the amount of 25,000 pesos. During the pre-bid on May 31, 2019, the BAC clarified the requirements, terms and conditions, specifications stipulated in the bidding documents, the eligibility requirements, and the technical and financial components of the contract to be bid. Asahi Design Center Incorporated and Progress Home and Office Furnishings submitted its technical and financial bids before the deadline of submission on June 14, 2019. In the presence of the bidders' representatives, the first envelope for the technical component of Asahi Design Center Incorporated and Progress Home and Office Furnishings were opened and checked by the BAC members to determine the bidders' compliance to the legal, technical, financial, and other requirements. After due evaluation and a motion duly made and properly seconded, both bidders were declared as passed with the requirements of the first envelope. Thereafter, the second envelope for the financial offer of Progress Home and Office Furnishings was opened. Said bidder was able to comply with the documentary requirements for the second envelope, and the bid price was read by the trader person and then recorded. Asahi Design Center Incorporated was declared as automatically disqualified with the requirements of the second envelope for failure to comply with the bid submission required under Section 20.3 of the bid data sheet of the bidding documents, which states that all bid documents shall be book-bound, hardbound, and properly labeled with index tabs. The second envelope of Asahi Design Center Incorporated has no index tabs. As a first step to determine the correct calculated bid, detailed evaluation of the bid was undertaken on the bid price of Progress Home and Office Furnishings in the amount of 17,499,000 pesos. The bid offer of Progress Home and Office Furnishings conformed to the required items specified in the bid form. Also, there were no arithmetical or computational errors in the said bid proposal. Deviations, however, were found as follows. For item 10.1, nursing station in child care, as per technical specification, the requirement for the 3-seater sofa is 140 millimeter in width by 387 millimeter in diameter and 495 millimeter in height. As per financial bid offer of the bidder, the submitted was 1,490 millimeter in width by 387 millimeter in diameter by 730 millimeter in height. There was a deviation in size. For item 11.2, interplate room, the requirement for the 3-seater sofa was 1,490 millimeter in width by 387 millimeter in diameter by 495 millimeter in height. As per financial bid offer of Progress Home and Office Furnishings, It offered 1,490 millimeter in width by 387 millimeter in diameter and 730 millimeter in height. There was a deviation in size. For item 15.1K lot area, the requirement for the TV play area toys and rubber mattings was a submission of 3-in-1 playground slide, swing, and basketball hoops for kids with basketball play set and colored puzzle matting. Progress Home and Office Furnishings did not offer the basketball play set and colored puzzle matting. Pursuant to Rule 9, Section 32 of the 2016 Revised IRR of Republic Act Number 9184, and based on the result of the bid evaluation, the technical working group recommends to declare Progress Home and Office Furnishings as failed for being non-responsive pursuant to Section 32.2.18, Rule 9 of the 2016 Revised IRR of Republic Act 9184.
Hindi ka namin. Bubukyan ako. Ay, iba yung ano? Wala. Hindi pwede. Wala kang suka. Wala.
Sige.
Yung sa hindi. Yan. Ginagamit niya.
Kasi during the evaluation, during the evaluation process, it can also affect
Hindi, pero makakagit ka.
Pinili mo na yung ano, mag-print ka. Kasi papipirma ka niyan. Ito pwede naman mamaya. Yung weight lang, correct mo yung spelling. May weight, baliktad yung ano, yung weight, yung spelling. Mamaya na lang. Ayusin mo din yung mga pangalan ng bakit.
Okay, before we proceed with the disposal of the evaluation report. So we see here, nag-pass sila sa technical. However, sa financials, they went over and beyond. They made a description. In the description, hindi na nag-match sa technical text. So as such, if you look at it straightforward, yung in-offer niya, sa sinabi niya meron siya, okay ba? Now, as we pointed out, under rules of the evaluation, we can ask for clarifications regarding this. Now, when we consider this a straightforward mali ang offer, therefore fail, or a matter which should be subject to clarification, considering na pumasa sila sa technical component. Hello, Secretary. But
Sir, kasi yung rule on family evaluation is specific. Dapat to be considered as
Responsive bid.
bid. Opo, yun.
So, unresponsive siya.
Bids not addressing. So, it follows na hindi niya in-address yung what is required sa technical specification.
Okay. Do we see members of the faculty?
Kung magpaligay na okay na, okay yung isa sa sofa, their sofa, dun naman sa kids play area, toys and rubber matters, wala pa rin siya deep. Unless na, nilagyan na nga ng gano'n na, offers to PBA, for free, di ba? Yun naman ang pay natin doon. Basta nilagyan mo ng dash na gano'n. Yun. Parang give ko na yung PPA. But kung wala naman din siyang nilagay, yan din. Nagbigay na yan. Lagay siya sa
Sa evaluation sa technical, sa Trinidad, nag-ano siya, nag-pass siya, nag-qualify siya, and the offer. Ang nakalagay naman doon sa financial niya is 1 lot. Although yun nga, nagkakaproblema sa description niya, although not required, nilagay siya ng description. Yung
unit is one lot, so
It's 15.1 play lot area.
hindi lang niya...
May description na kiddie play area toys and rubber matting.
Kasi yung where na, yung naka-seven tayo basketball play. Tapos, baka nakabakan siya, pero yung sa ino naman, bibigyan naman sila oh, tulad yung belt barrier, makahaba din yung specification, may tagaan din niya ilagay. Pero doon, sa signage, tagaan din niya sulat yung mahaba.
So, as we discussed at the attorney, subject to ano ng approval or ano nga, then it's up to the body to address this for clarification or outright disqualify it during the station visit.
We can adapt the recommendation of technical review, or we can require the technical
Mas maybe pa sa mga itin sila, para meron silang ano pa, para meron pa tayong ano, meron pa silang chance to
Ako lang ang gusto lang. How big we are in the forums, that itself is sa akin very much new. Bakit
hindi siya naglagay lang siya ng description.
pero yun nga, parang if we are that strict with forms alter, what more in the clarification of the spaces?
The chair removed that the recommendation of the DWG as contained in their bid evaluation report, stating among others that the technical working group recommends to declare progress home in office furnishings as failed for being non-responsive pursuant to section 32.1 A, Rule 9 of the 2016 revised IRR of Republic Act number 9184 be adopted by the committee.
It is the full discussion of presentation of technical issues and contained in the evaluation report. And the procurement of furniture and fixtures for your passengers terminal to there being none, progress home and office furnishing that is hereby declared of sale for being non-responsive pursuant to section 32.2.1 A, Rule 9 of the 2016 revised Republic Act number 9. Our secretary, please should inform the bidder of the said failure. Let's proceed to the next item on our agenda. The procurement conference for the procurement of administrative support and power services for PDA and office of marketing centers and projects, as well as for important and office of non-cluster, side cluster, and regional cluster. Components to the list of their proposal.
Good morning, everyone.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, I'm Anjali De La Paz from
from the Human Resource Human Resource Management Department, and I'm here to present the proposed administrative support services through Manpower Service Provider. This was requested by all the RCs PPA nationwide from the head office, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao cluster. This is for the calendar year 2019. Alright, so what are we obtaining this manpower services is specifically because of the development, design, and implementation of PPA Ports project, the maintenance of its activities, and the general administrative office requirements require substantial manpower augmentation, which cannot be provided by our existing regular PPA personnel. And in this slide, PPA seeks to enter into an outsourcing agreement with a private entity for the supply and provision of competent administrative support manpower services required by PPA head office responsibility centers and port management offices. So thanks to CSC, DBM, and COA Joint Circular Number 1, Series of 2017, dated June 1, 2017, which is the rules and regulation on governing contracts of services, we were authorized, or the authorized government agencies to enter, it authorized government agencies to enter into service contracts with other government entities, private firms, or individual, non-government organization for services related or incidental to their respective functions and operations. These manpower services can function either part-time or in full-time, and they are necessary to augment the manpower complement for priority programs, activities, and projects. So basically, what are the objectives of this outsourcing? This is to...
Ilang pages ba yung sa head office manpower?
Head office manpower, the list, sir. The list.
Kasi parang may kulang ng mga RC. Yan ang pwede nabigyan.
Okay, I'll look into that, sir. Sorry, is that the detailed list? Is that the detailed list?
Okay. I-request mo na bigay yung pages.
Yes, sir. I'll print out the copy. I'll print out the copy after.
Ikaw na ba maka-print out?
Mayroon na sa akin.
I-email mo na sa baba.
Okay lang. I can get it from here.
Okay, sige.
Should I pause for a while, sir? I'll pause for a while.
5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. The specific list.
May CPD naman talaga, di ba?
Meron. Yung detailed list.
Kasi nalang kasi actually malaki yung game.
While waiting for the document, should I proceed? Okay. So again, for the objective, this is to ensure continuous rendering of frontline services in PPA Responsibility Center. Another is to fill up the vacuum created by the issuance of CSE guidelines and policies prohibiting the filling up of positions vacated through promotion. So this is in response to Section 96 of the Omnibus Rules of Appointments. Another is to help the country in the generation of employment opportunities. So basically, the Human Resource Management Department is tasked to facilitate for the procurement of the administrative support position and engineering support position for head office, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, as well as the security screening machine operators for our port management offices in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao as well. So now I'm just gonna give you a brief background on how we come up with the numbers and budgetary requirement for each. So I'm going to be presenting the proposed administrative support services through manpower service provider, calendar year 2019. Just to give you a background, last quarter of 2018, we actually asked all the port management officers, basically all the RCs to give us a list or a request of the manpower requirement which they think it would be suitable for their RCs considering the port traffics and the workload that they have. So we gave them that liberty. And this is the numbers that we've come up. However, there was just some comparative study and revisions on this one because November 2019, there was also a joint circular that came out that they wanted to increase the salary schedule at par with the regular. So there was that comparative study. Then we ended up on utilizing SSL4 tranche 1 with our outsourced manpower.
Did we adopt the recommendation of the RC centers regarding number of personnel?
We did, sir.
So
We did.
you're presenting the numbers given by the RCs?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There was two parts in this one. Initially, again, we gave them the liberty, yes. But then there was a balloon in our budget. So we asked them to reduce later on. We asked them to reduce what is the minimal number which can facilitate their functions productively. So this is already the numbers that we have. So for the summary, we have broken it down to admin, engineering, and security screeners, all for head office, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. For head office, we have a total of 204,232 budget requirement with a number of 452 personnel. For Luzon, we would be 183,447,000 for 578 personnel. For Visayas would be 93,644,000 for 341 people. Then for Mindanao, 98,203,000 for 347 personnel. That gives us a total of 579,527. Plus the security screeners, we had to add up the security screeners for our port management offices. That's a total currently for me, it's a total of 292 count of personnel or 87,056,000 budgetary requirement, giving us a total of 2,010 outsourced personnel with a budget request of 666,584,000.
And how did you come to the budget?
Yes, sir. I would be
There's the next slide.
Yes,
Okay.
I would be discussing further. So, again, as I mentioned earlier, we've utilized SSL4 tranche 1. So this is how we, for HR Sky, this is how we computed for such budget. Considering, for example, we have a position under SG10. An SG10 personnel has a basic monthly salary of 17,730 pesos. But we end up a gross monthly billing rate of 28,598 pesos. So how did that happen? Of course, we have...
One moment.
Yes.
For the record. Okay. Under the amended to the joint circular, it was provided that the salary of the outsource is equal to that of a regular employee. However, what you're presenting now is SSL 4 tranche 1, while regular employee is receiving SSL 4 tranche 4. Now, for verification, the logic behind this is the guidelines is particular for direct individual contract service. However, what we're reading out is a institutional contract of service, thereby allowing us leeway since there's administrative cost. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right. Again, the gross monthly billing rate for an SG10 personnel is 28,598 pesos. So, included in which is the government payable, the amount payable to the government, also the amount payable to the employees. We will consider in there also the admin cost and the value added tax. What are the amounts payable to the government? Of course, we have for private entities, SSS, the ECC, PhilHealth, and PAGIBIG. For the amount payables to our employees, this is assuming they have overtimes, the service incentive leaves, and of course the 13th-month pay. So this is how we compute for each position.
So the budget is was derived from computing each and every request,
Yes.
taking into account the salary and the contribution which must be paid, as well as
Yes.
the administrative costing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Also under the revised guidelines, well, the joint circular, it's required that no JO position should be equal to that. No JO position should be similar to that of a candidate position. So we revised all the titles of the JO which we are bidding now
Yes, sir.
to a different or equivalent position with a different title. So what we're offering now is a number equal or greater than what our existing complement is.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, lahat ng JO natin ngayon can be absorbed under the new system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are included, and as well there are some additional position, but all are already complemented to the tiling already. We did the revisions, the necessary revisions there.
Okay, thank you. Proceed.
All right, moving on. This is just a breakdown so you can have a look for RC. So here you go. Again, head office has a total manpower requirement of 452 personnel with a budgetary requirement of 204,232 pesos. So OGM has a requirement, if you break it down, OGM has a requirement of 88 personnel, that's 40 million. AGMO has a requirement of 64 personnel, that's 24 million. Engineering have 215 personnel requirements, and that's 103 million. And AGPA has an 85 personnel requirement, and that's an equivalent of 35,459,000, giving us a total of 204 million, 230,000.
And do you have conformity from the RCs regarding the numbers or yung submission ng nila?
Submission.
So yung numbers dito, yung based on their submission.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But would it be possible or would it take too long to submit it again? Kasi baka I don't know, baka may error or something. Kasi like for CPD, we exchange email. Yung una yung sabi niyo bloated. So we evaluated and we came up with the total number. And now I still have to check. That's why I'm trying to look at the breakdown so that to check that what we agreed upon based on our emails. And pareho kami understand.
Send a notification to all RCs notifying them na we can procure the process and ito yung number of positions. And ito yung positions na approved sa kanila for procurement.
We can do that.
Okay.
We can do that.
Including the breakdown.
Hindi, hindi Okay, so they can be
Para
aware,
ma-double check din.
ito na yung mga positions, mga position nila yung mga tao nila kung saan launch.
Okay.
Sir, I would like to know how we would handle new requests from the PMOs, like say from Matlog for their requesting additional outsourced personnel for the new force.
Okay. Yung additional nila, yung hinihingi nilang 19 personnel, temporary pa lang hinihingi niya, hindi yan cover dito. So, kasi well, hindi tayo sigurado kung effective yung additional personnel in order to fix the problem in Manto. However, since during the informal EEC, yun yung sinabi nilang solution. So, para makita kung kaya pa talaga nila i-solve yung issue regarding sa pila sa Manto, bibigay sa kanila yung tao. Pero this is temporary measure, if you see the documentation, 1 month lang ang approval natin. So, hodgepodge to galing sa ibang mga RCs. So, as of the moment, temporary in nature lang. Proceed.
Thank you. Okay, before I proceed, thank you ma'am for that suggestion. We will do that. Okay, now this is for the port management offices. We have broken it down to Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So you will see here, there is a total, including the security screening operators for our PMOs, we have a total personnel requirement of 1,558,000. That's a total budget of 462,351,000. Okay. I will then proceed to the terms of reference. This terms of reference will be agreed upon, agreed between the PPA and the service provider. And this is for the contract for the procurement of administrative support manpower services. This is for a contract period of 1 year. So this is assuming that this contract will commence in September. This contract will commence in September. The whole bidding process will be successful by September. Then this would last up until September 2019 to September 2020. So this terms of reference, in this terms of reference, each has a copy already. We have an individualized terms of reference, one for the administrative support manpower services for head office, one for Luzon cluster, one for Visayas cluster, and also one for Mindanao cluster. We also have a terms of reference by security screening machine operator, but this was prepared by PPD, by Mr. Froilan Caturla. They are the ones who did the terms of reference, since they have these positions require some technical qualifications which only they can actually explain and inform us. So later on, Mr. Froilan Caturla will also be presenting the terms of reference for the security screening machine operators. But we were also told last Friday, afternoon Friday, that there is a possibility, because I believe terms of reference for admin support positions should only be just one. So there might be a possibility of unifying this one and making it into one. So Sir Froilan and I are so we are willing to work on that under your approval, sir.
What do you mean? That will be split or already included here?
Hindi kasi yung bumuo ng yung terms of reference po yung ating support HR. Pero yung for security screen machine operators galing sa PPA. So since this is one PPA, kailangan isang term of reference lang. Pero pwede caption naman.
Paano pala yan? May qualifications ba for each and every? For each and every position? Yan ba?
For qualification for a certain position. Yung terms of reference po is parang it's a generic agreement po lang between the contract service provider po. not really per position.
Kasi tayo naman ang mag-approve whether ex-officer by will be hired as a J.
Wala tayong nag-try na po lang. Last time yung firm. O yung firm. Yung
Capacity
ongoing
to
na.
provide all these requirements.
Ongoing contracts ko yung chinik natin.
Ongoing tsaka firm.
Mamix up lang ako ulit dun sa kanina natin ba sa security guard.
Oo,
Kasi kasi sila yung provide ng tao. Whereas here, we are only asking the service provider to be the one to screen for us. Take everything about hiring and everything. To administer, but just to say, we are the one requiring the qualifications as end user.
Kasi yung evaluation of the type PWG will be more on the firm na hindi na sa tao.
Sa simula pa lang dapat may mga tao sila for each position. So as needed tayo.
So earlier on, I've given you the introduction included in our terms of reference. Also, I've explained earlier our objectives for this procurement. Now, I will be going on with tackling the obligations and responsibilities expected in this POR. So, the winning manpower service contractor shall provide all administrative support personnel required as listed in Annex A. All the yellow folders now are the Annex A. They've also handed me the head office copy. I'll be giving it to you later on. So the Annex A is a detailed list of all the requested positions of all RCs nationwide. This list may contain some vacant positions. Further, it does not mean that they all have to be filled up. Hiring and deployment of personnel to specific sites or workstations shall be based on the actual need of RC heads concerned as required in the actual implementation of the projects or commitments to be undertaken. Likewise, occupied positions may be vacated as an effect of the approved rationalization plan as discussed in the introduction.
Clarification lang.
Yes.
Sabi mo kasi hiring, it does not mean that they all have to be filled up. May effect ba yun dun sa ABC? Like kunyari, hindi naman filled up, hindi sisingilin ng contract ng service provider?
Hindi po, ma'am. Bale, we will just, for the ABC, we just have a budget for it. Prepared po yung budget, ma'am. But, if kunwari hindi po filled up yung position, then status quo po. Hindi sisingilin po.
So yung actual?
Yung actual pa rin po. Yes. Actual pa rin po kasi meron po yan sila yung parang monthly billing rate lang na sinasubmit ng service provider. Then, yun lang po yun. That's based on the actual number of position. Then after which, after determining the lowest and responsive bidder in the competitive bidding to be conducted for this purpose, PPA shall award the winning manpower service provider or contractor the contract for the procurement of the administrative support manpower services effective for a period of 1 year. Now let's proceed to the approved budget for the contract. So this is just a soft copy of the unsigned certificate of availability of funds. So after so many months, you already have a certificate of availability of funds, and they 222 million was made available. If you go back to the presentation earlier, I mentioned that the total budgetary requirement was 666 million. But however, for the certificate of availability of funds, you will see here that only 222 million was made available for 2019 since according to controller, they couldn't certified or they couldn't give out already the whole budget for 2019 since there would only be 4 months remaining. So anyhow, it was mentioned also in this certificate of availability of funds that the remaining balance, the 444 million, which is representing the balance of the 1-year contract, it will be readily made available in the next calendar year. So I believe the hard copy of the signed one was already distributed. Yes, thank you.
we already have an approved budget for 2020. That means we are repeating the SSL for tranche 1, right?
For yes po, for 2020, January to September of 2020, yes, up until we have another procurement.
So this is for
Sorry, August 31, August 31.
Ang current fiscal year siya, starting from 2019 o let's say August until
September.
Yes.
September to August.
Yes.
So parang fiscal year na naman yan.
Yes. Alright, so how did we come up with this budgeting? Just to break it down, for example, head office, we have a total requirement of 204 million. We have just extracted the monthly allocation of budget, which is 17 million. So that would mean if there are 17 million budget for each month, from September, October, November to December, we would be needing 68 million. So that is what the controllership department certified. The 8-month value, which is the 136,154,000, that would be the one, that's the amount that will be made available for 2020. So again,
Dapat August 31, 2020 yun. Ang August kasi may 31 eh.
31.
Tapos yung year niya, dapat yung sa 8 months value, dapat January 1, 2020 yan, no?
yes
Tapos
ma'am.
August 31, 2020.
Okay, yes ma'am.
August may 31 yan kasi birthday nung kapatid ko yung 31.
Okay na.
Actually, magpapansin nga niya.
Sa August 31.
Yes, so tama po, to align this data dun sa ating certificate. Kasi po initially, what I was computing was how much ba yung ginastos from January to this year po, January to August this year, then ilan pa yung ibibigay ng, ilan pa yung kailangan ibigay ng controller. So, yes, you're right po. To align it with the certificate of availability of funds, I will do it other way around po, the 4 months and then ilan pa po, 8 months sa 2020. Sige po, I'll revise this one. So, there. So this is the ABC or the approved budget for the contract for head office. PPA shall allocate the amount of 204,232,205 pesos and 87 centavos as the approved budget for the contract. But again, take note that only 4 months of this value will be given this 2019. Although this one is the approved budget already for the whole contract up until 2020. So this is for head office alone po.
Head office lang ba yan?
Yes
Head
po.
office yung 204 million.
Yes po. Yes, this po, head office as individual terms of reference po.
Excuse me ma'am.
Yes ma'am.
So, pag pinapure natin, head office.
Yes po.
Luzon, Visayas.
Yes po. Yes po. That's why we have individualized terms of reference for each cluster. Now this one is the ABC for Luzon cluster. PPA had allocated the amount of 447,862 pesos and 17 cents. Again, 4 months only will be provided by the controller as of this year. Same is true with Visayas as well, but although they allocated 93,644,745 and 77 cents for the approved budget of the contract. For Mindanao cluster, we have a budget of 98,203,054 and 29 cents. That's the approved budget for the contract.
So billing na per cluster meeting. Ang billing natin is for per cluster.
Yes, ma'am.
So head office, billing of bills. Visayas, billing of bills.
Actually po, yes po. And then we also have to consider rin po, iba rin po yung mga galing sa ASD. I think they're still working on it po. Iba naman po sa Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao for the general support and the janitorial services.
Don't you know if they are already preparing for it? Kasi parang dapat sa akin lang po, in fairness to all the job forces, it should be at the same time. Para yung increase ng salary na hindi pa sila nag-prepare eh.
I think ma'am, they're already in the process of obtaining already the certificate of availability of funds. I was closely working naman po with them, sina Sir Ed, sina Ma'am Dea. Ano na po, just siguro po a few more days, they're still working on it. But they're on the process. Wala pa silang signed certificate of availability of funds. But they're already there. They're already obtained. Kasi po, initially, as 1 year, nakaprepare na sila as 1 year. Then, nagkaroon po yung controller ng request to break it down to 4 months and 8 months. Doon, I think, nandun na po sila sa process po.
Among Mrs. po, question na. Doon sa pagbabudget ninyo, yung coming up with the budget, yung monthly,
Yes.
Ilan yung inallocate po nilang person for admin cost?
Yung admin cost po nila is 15%. Yes po. Because po parang 10 to 15%, we just took the maximum po, which is 15%.
So, makakalaman pa yung kasi 10% lang minimum. Sabi naman ako ito.
Okay, ma'am, I'll proceed po. So, PPA, the next item will that be PPA shall pay the contractor the monthly billing rate stipulated in the said contract, subject to existing government auditing and accounting rules and regulations for and in consideration of the services rendered by support personnel deployed by the contractor. Payment shall be made upon presentation of its 10-monthly personal payment and affidavit or sworn statement that it has paid the benefits and the premium of its personnel for the period covered per submitted payroll. Contractors, billing contractors are the one responsible to remit the corresponding premiums to Pag-ibig, SSS, PhilHealth, and ECC, as well as the withholding taxes to BIR. The contractor also shall agree to provide office uniform to the admin support personnel to be deployed under contract. Moving on, the winning contractor shall agree to increase or decrease the number of administrative support personnel to be deployed under the contract, subject to actual manpower support requirements of PPA during the effectivity of the contract, provided that the increase shall not exceed 10% of the original contract value. The contractor also shall assume all accountabilities over all support personnel that shall be provided and deployed in the PPA head office and port management offices under contract. The contractor is responsible in ensuring that all administrative support personnel provided to the PPA head office and port management offices are physically fit, possessing agility and alertness to deliver the duties and responsibilities of assigned positions, as well as to ensure the physical and psychological fitness of administrative support personnel to be assigned in the PPA head office and port management offices by subjecting said personnel to medical examinations and psychological evaluations and providing PPA with the results. PPA has the right. Yes, sir.
Does that include yung drug test of personnel? Mandatory drug test?
Yes, sir. Yes, during the pre-employment, sir, they require that one. The contract service providers require that one. Also, PPA reserves the right to reject any administrative support personnel who shall be found unqualified, and unfit to cope with PPA job requirements based on the personal qualification credentials to be submitted by the contractor in the initial screening to be conducted by PPA. Also, the winning contractor shall exercise administrative supervision over said support personnel provided, including the imposing of the wearing of office uniform or proper attire during office hours, and the observance of proper office decorum. Yes, ma'am.
Yung specifically ba na nasa contract natin that they will provide office uniform for the job orders?
Yes, ma'am. It is included in our terms of reference, so it should be.
Ano na nga daw, it should be included. Kasi minsan yung mga JO sa amin parang wala shirt provided, parang kulang-kulang.
Yes, but there are some part of the days for
Kasi sa contract mo nila, 2-page ano na lang tayo. So lahat na is included in the TO.
Kasama sa repal. Yes. Dun po sa revise, sa revision in-erase po yung technical position. In-erase po yung technical.
Sa wellness, included in
Wellness po, parang, there was a time, na request po ni na mamayan daw po yun to include JO sa ating wellness. But I believe it wasn't granted, ma'am. That's
500, di ba nagbigay pa sila?
parang ano nila po, special
Sila ng
request.
500, pero
Meron ba nun?
hindi. Actually, nagbigay sila kung natuloy yung noon na wellness yung para sa lahat. Pero hindi namin in-accept.
Okay.
Kasi hindi naman natuloy.
So ngayon pwedeng i-claim.
Oo.
Kunyari magbe-wellness.
Oo,
pwede
nag-wellness.
i-claim.
Sinasubsidize
Baka
na
naman
ano yung mga department yung mga JO.
Sayang bago man lang umalis eh.
Hindi, ang alam ko ni-request na, kasi ang OGM na nag-request sila sa ano na LDP mismo.
Pero moving forward, are we going to include or
Actually,
a provision for wellness for each JO and how
actually
much?
there's, may additional na provision dito. Asan yun? Yung-
Yes, ma'am. Instead of the
Yung sa number
wellness.
17, instead of wellness, naglagay na lang kami ng the contractors
Interventions.
Yung
Focusing on the learning and
learning.
Yes po, instead seminar po.
Kaya lang, yun nga, gusto namin i-clarify kung is it okay na maglagay tayo dyan ng
yan.
parang ano, kasi yung same rate with the regulars.
You can always provide, it's up to the terms and conditions of PPA. My concern is that, how about the rate or the ABC that we are providing? Yung ABC. Kasi kung ang laki naman ang hinihingi sa atin, dapat i-include yun.
Hindi. Pwede na hindi nilang i-ask. Hindi ko kayo talaga hindi.
But it has to be specified if they have to assure.
Intervention.
Oo nga, ano siya.
O nga naman, paano kung bigyan sila ng basic na seminar, hindi lang magagamit yun para sa isang wellness. Alam mo?
Basic na ano sila na client.
Siguro yung dapat na
Maganda ano.
para sa
Black and white.
So ano, yung number 17.
So ma'am, would you like to include also in our terms of reference the request for wellness?
Oo, kaya ang ano mo kasi is you already have an approved budget for the contract. When you computed for the trainings, dapat from the very start, nandun na yun, included na yung this amount.
Ang tanong ba, ma'am, yung bang mga ganyan, hindi ba yan magiging questionable na parang bakit nag-require ka na something na ganyan? Kasi magiging cost pa rin in the end ng PPA. Baka hindi ba magiging ganun din? Kung iyaan natin.
Granting that you already have an approved ABC, the question is, in-include by wellness. So if not, then you can no longer provide it in the contract because you already have an agreement.
Ito, mangyayari, parang ano mo sa kanila to, parang lambing mo lang sa kanila to, parang ganun lang.
Parang
Di
Parang perks na lang
pagbibigyan,
po.
oo, parang
Parang
pagbibigyan o di
But you
pagbibigyan.
are not assured that you can live with them. Kasi hindi ka nalilingkod sa contract.
Kasi hindi, magiging cost.
Or if you have other computation or additional seminar and everything, you can always have this seminar turned into wellness. So it's up to the HR. Kung ano yung
Actually, ito yung purpose kung ano na at least one seminar. Hindi lang namin nilagay na wellness kasi nga.
Pero
ano,
pwede,
That's
masyado
for
pwede
the-
i-convert.
okay.
Pwede i-convert siya.
Okay. Nasa sa inyo yung convert into seminar or wellness.
So, yun na lang.
Specify na lang po
Specify
namin.
na lang na wellness.
Question, ma'am. Yes, dun po sa item 11, yung the contractor shall exercise administrative supervision over support personnel.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, kasi yung, yung second sentence, PPA shall solely oversee the functions and activities of support personnel on all matters regarding their assignments.
Yes po.
Kung wala tayong employee-employer relationship, hindi ba medyo magkukonflict yan? Tapos solely oversee the functions and activities. Eh, ang employer niya, yung service provider, tapos tayo lang ang may function na mag-oversee yung activities niya. Baka mag-conflict tayo dun sa employee-employer relationship na principle. Baka po pwedeng natin na PPA may oversee the functions and activities kasi siya na solely pa. So yung mismong employer niya, hindi niya na po pwedeng i-oversee yung function nitong support personnel niya kasi si PPA lang ang may ganun. So,
Yes, sir.
diba? Baka magpo-conflict siya dun sa employee-employer, no employee-employer relationship, principle.
So the right way to say it, ma'am, should be that PPA may oversee the functions
Pwede
and
pa siguro
activities
yung gano'n.
of the
Kasi
support personnel.
kung shall na tapos solely pa, pang
Yes, ma'am. I see your point po. Thank you for that. Alright, so now, the contractor will be doing it as, writing it as the contractor shall exercise administrative supervision over said support personnel provided, including the imposing of wearing of office uniform or proper attire during office hours and the observance of proper office decorum. PPA may oversee the functions and activities of support personnel on all matters regarding their assignment. The contractor fully guarantees the capabilities and competence of administrative support personnel to be assigned in PPA head office RCs and court management offices. The contractor shall also agree to any personnel changes that the authority shall require in case the individual work performance of respective support personnel concerned fail below project or work activity expectations.
Bakit yung baliktad? Hindi ba PPA? Contractor siya agree to any person may support. Ito kasi yung sinasabi ko na magko-conflict siya sa employee-employer relationship. Bakit parang tayo yung sa kanya mag-evaluate yung work performance niya? Doon lang TOR na ipinabay sa amin, Miss Aislinn.
Yes.
Yung number 13, it states that all personnel assigned to PPA head office, RCs, etc.
by his or her immediate supervisor and in accordance with the PPA performance appraisal schedule. Ang ginamit pa natin yung PPA performance appraisal schedule. Wala din naman natin sila empleyado, sabi natin. Tapos yung evaluation na gagamitin natin, yung pang PPA performance appraisal.
Meron silang sarili eh.
Pwede naman.
Meron silang, may sarili silang form.
Opo, pwede naman silang i-evaluate. Talaga naman dapat yun na
Yes, po.
kailangan sila i-evaluate. Pero siguro medyo ayusin natin yung statement.
Sige po, ma'am. Ay, yun nga, parang hindi nga po dapat PPA performance appraisal. It should be their own evaluation form or format.
May sarili silang form.
Yes po, like yung sa LBG.
Tayo ang nag-relate kasi tayo yung gumagamit dun.
Oo, nandun naman sila sa atin.
At the form,
Merong in accordance with the PPA performance appraisal, medyo, baka medyo mag-conflict nga siya sa no employee-employer relationship.
yes, form sila, yung service.
Ito po ma'am, like for our LBG.
Yes, oo.
Meron po. Tama po. It shouldn't be PPA. It should be the service provider's performance appraisal, own performance evaluation.
Pero is it not talking about the schedule lang? Kung kailan kinakanta?
Semi-annual
Parang
din.
semester sila?
Same with ano?
Tama din sa annual.
Same with our own IPCR.
Annual daw.
Annual sa inyo, ang semi-annual.
Annual yan ba?
For our terms of reference, ma'am, we wanted it semi-annual po.
Same with
Same with the schedule of the regular employees, the regular PPA.
IPCR.
Okay lang sa akin.
Siguro mas safe tayo kung on a semi-annual basis. Hanggang dun lang.
Okay po.
Pero, kayo pa din, bahala kayo. Yun lang ang
Hindi.
gusto.
Kailan ba yung schedule natin? January and...
January to
Yeah,
June, sir.
yan yung
Tapos
January to June.
January to June. Huwag na lang natin ilagay PPA performance appraisal schedule. Ilagay mo na lang yung January to June and July to ganyan.
Pwede rin. Kasi pag sinabi mong semi-annual,
Ilagay mo yung schedule kung ano yung semi-annual na yun.
Specify
wala
po.
talaga basta semi-annual, mag-start naman talaga yung taon sa
Bakit? May calendar year, may fiscal year.
Parang, parang fiscal year.
Basta may annual.
Sa contact natin, September to August.
Hindi, kung gano'n, kung September to August, paano yan? So, halimbawa, first 6 months, second 6 months, at
Oo, ganun. Tama, semi-annual pa din. Huwag na ilalagay specific numbers. Kasi kung September mag-start sir,
Hindi, dapat mag-clarify natin kung kailan.
So, kung September yung contact natin, dapat yung first 6 months din na lang.
Oo.
Kasi kung June to July, or July to June, July to December, kasi tayo na iba yung
So it will be good to put a statement, the performance evaluation on a semi-annual basis, then specify it as first 6 months, then second 6 months. Ganun na lang po. Ay, January.
Kaso ma'am,
Kaya lang po kasi hindi January
January kasi gitnaan siya. September to August kasi siya. September 2019 to
Yes.
August
Is there a particular reason bakit sinusunod natin sa PPA appraisal, performance appraisal schedule? Kasi wala naman din silang, well, una, hindi naman natin pinoconsider yan for promotion. Hindi din natin pinoconsider yan for PBB. Saan natin ginagamit yan?
Pero kaya
Kung nakakainis lang sa'yo, nakakatuwa.
no, to be fair with them, what if they will apply for regular position? Would the HR require performance evaluation for outsiders?
Considered as outsider.
It would just be parang basis po for recommendation po of renewing their contract. That's the
Okay, so hindi. So, first 6 months, second 6 months. There's no reason bakit June and December.
monthly June to, ano, July to June, July to December. Ayan, yun ang schedule niya.
So, like what Attorney Dana was mentioned earlier, the third statement, the contractor shall agree to any personal changes that the authorities shall require in case the individual work performance of respective. Do you want, do you agree that we can remove this one because this might be a redundancy of the statement after the evaluation in here?
Hindi, kasi mangyayari dyan, parang sinasabi mo, pwede ka lang magtanggal pag after the performance evaluation. And there are instances na natatanggal ka even wala pang performance evaluation. Hindi ka, you can't remove it.
Okay, alright po. On top of this statement that based on the result of the performance evaluation, PPA may opt to recommend pre-termination or non-renewal of contract of the personnel assigned to PPA head office, RCs, and port management offices for just cause such as incompetence, gross inefficiency, and unsatisfactory work performance. However, final decision will be carried out by the contractor after due process.
Sir, gusto mo wala na yung just cause? Kasi tayo mo magkaano.
Actually, nangyayari naman dyan, ililipat lang nila. Hindi na determine ka agad yan. Pero yun nga. Kasi bakit may just cause? Eh hindi naman tayo wala namang employer-employee.
Oo, parang bang kasi, di ba sir, sa atin, mag-create lang ng change. Pero wala na tayong pakialam kung paano nila ililipat yung just cause with due process. Kasi
na lang.
delikado pa yun sir eh.
Yung just cause.
Just cause and yung ano, the decision, yung however time shall be carried out, parang ang PPA ang magde-decide and kini-carry lang nung.
Hindi, mangyayari niya. Kasi sinasabi, mangyayari, PPA is the complainant or the reporting.
Pero paano sir, kunyari, determine ng service provider, ay walang just cause siya, hindi nyo pwedeng tanggalin.
Hindi, iba yung basis natin. Kasi that's for them, para magkaroon sila ng basis for removal sa kanila. Pero sa atin, we can write and recommend the replacement na hindi kailangan just cause. And nagtutuwa tayo ng services no longer required. Pero nakalagay based on the result of the performance evaluation. So, parang redundancy na yung incompetence, gross inefficiency, and unsatisfactory work performance. Diba? Naka-hinge ka na sa performance evaluation.
Performance evaluation.
Tanggalin mo na lang.
Evaluation bago
Bakit kaya elimination na rin?
hindi pa rating.
Pwede ba ibang word na? So, recommend, relieve, or replacement.
Kasi nangyayari dyan, may sarili silang contract with the provider para maputol nila.
Okay lang yan. Straightforward.
Pero 15 days yan, di ba? Yung contract.
Contract nila, sir, NPT. Sila, sir,
Yearly pass.
Diba 6 months na yun yung uli?
6 months
Ay,
na.
o 1 to 2 years. Yung last, ano, yung contract, ano, 6 months, 6 months, di ba?
Yan yung lagay ko. Okay. So ano, tanggalin natin for just cause dahil nakalink naman sa result of the performance evaluation.
Hanggang sa management offices lang po.
Okay. Just to clarify, we're gonna write it as based on the results of the performance evaluation, PPA may opt to recommend pre-termination, will retain that po, or renewal of contract of the personnel assigned to PPA head office RCs.
Or non-renewal.
Or non-renewal of contract of the personnel assigned to PPA head office RCs and port management offices. Should I remove po, final decision will be carried out by the contractor after due process.
Redundant kasi hindi naman talaga sila pwede magtanggal kapag hindi sila tumatal yung process.
Ako sir, di ba parang sa kanila na yun, parang it's between the service
Nagre-recommend ka
provider
lang naman
and the job order kung paano
The
siya
procedure afterwards sa kanila din.
Kasi nag-recommend lang naman si PPA eh. So kung sa kanya, pwede kang tanong.
Okay po. Alright. Moving forward, the personnel to be assigned to the PPA head office RTs and port management offices will render work for 8 hours a day from Monday to Friday and in case the need arises, said personnel may be required to render service beyond the 8-hour period for a minimum of 2 hours and a maximum of 4 hours on weekdays and a minimum of 8 hours during holidays or rest days. The payment of such overtime work shall be paid in accordance with the applicable government rules and regulations.
Minimum yung 8 hours pag weekend. So pag mag-overtime ka, 8 hours talaga yan.
Maximum pang hanggang 8 lang, no? Maximum. Maximum yun.
Maximum of 8 hours. Including holiday.
Kailangan pala mo.
And Saturdays po.
Ipinintay mo pa pag full day.
The contractor then shall advance traveling and overtime expenses incurred by outsourced personnel needed in the performance of their duties. Travel and overtime expenses prior to PPA approval and reimbursement shall be subject to submission of complete documents pursuant to existing PPA policies.
Parang kulang yung ano. Travel and overtime expenses. Travel and
Travel and overtime expenses.
parang may kulang na word yan. Travel and overtime expenses. Travel and reimbursement. Diba?
Prior PPA approval.
Bakit parang iba yung, magkaiba naman yung tinutukoy ng prior PPA approval eh.
Kukunahin ko na lang po, ma'am. Prior PPA approval and reimbursement, travel and overtime expenses shall be subject to submission of complete documents pursuant.
Prior to PPA approval, reimbursement for travel and overtime expenses shall be subject to submission of complete documents.
Oo. Para saan yung prior PPA approval?
Sorry, ma'am, can I get that statement again prior to the...
Diba, saan naka-hinge yung prior PPA approval? Kasi travel and overtime expenses, doon yun sa reimbursement ng travel and overtime expenses, reimbursement yun. Diba? Reimbursement of travel and overtime expenses shall be subject to submission of complete documents pursuant to existing PPA policies. Saan nakalagay yung prior PPA approval? Amin yun eh.
Parang di pa dapat.
Kasi hindi mo naman patatrabilin yun eh, kung hindi mo naman talaga
Kasi siya,
sa
meron ka na shall be subject to submission of, tama ba?
complete documents eh. Siyempre, kasama sa complete documents mo na yun.
Kasi yung una mong sentence, advance yun eh. Then magpapa-reimburse ka.
Oo. Dapat, reimbursement of travel and overtime expenses shall be subject to submission. Wala yung prior PPA approval.
Okay po. Yes, ma'am. More data. The contractor shall advance traveling and overtime expenses incurred by outsourced personnel needed in the performance of their duties. Travel and overtime expenses Reimbursement of travel and overtime expenses shall be subject to submission of complete documents pursuant to existing DDA policies. Alright, I'll just revise that one later on. The one that we were discussing earlier, the contractor shall provide at least one seminar or training interventions focusing on the learning and development of the personnel. You wanted me also to have mentioned about wellness, like, or could
Diba? Hindi siya na-include sa
that's a maximum max of 50%. So there would, if there would be an extra, they can get it from the 5% extra.
Pwede ba yun? Sa atin po.
Okay sa kanila. Pero kung tayo magre-require sa kanila na parang at least may ano sa wellness ano, hindi kaya may ano din sa hindi ba yan COA ball ano?
Kaya nga, hindi namin nilagay yung wellness kasi
Baka oo, baka may,
learning and
baka may nasusulat pala dyan yung COA na hindi natin alam.
Pag COA lang.
Baka COA ano, yung mga nasusulat na for their eyes only, nasasabihin lang nila sa'yo pag
Inaalaw ba?
Disallowance time na.
Actually, may mga outsourced personnel na bali sila.
Dumadami naman yung baho sa'yo.
Mas tayo sila. Pero
Yung sa yun, di ba, they are not allowed. Sa yung PTA sponsored, ano, panay para sa regular lang.
sila mismo, yung kayo mismo nagbabayad.
Pero ito,
Pag sinama ng provision,
Baka pwede.
sila na magbabayad.
The provider will shoulder po. Provider.
pwede ba ilagay ang no cost to PTA?
Ayun.
Ayun.
At no cost.
The contractor shall provide at least one seminar or training intervention focusing on the learning and development of the personnel at no cost to PTA.
Hindi ba automatic yan? Kapag may seminar training, learning and development intervention.
Sabi niya, no, kasi, di ba, no use dito mo, pero
At least one learning and development intervention. Alisin na yung center chambers. Provide at least one learning and development intervention of the personnel at no cost to PTA. Kasi yung seminar chambers, learning and development din siya.
Okay.
Sir, if you find the statement redundant, but you want it to be constructed as the contractor shall provide learning and development intervention of the personnel at no cost to PTA.
At least one sinagay.
At least one learning and development intervention of the personnel at no cost to PTA.
Ibigay namin dahil no use to
Baka talaga ako.
Hindi pa ba ginagawa na nila yun?
Hindi, baka kasi hindi maintindihan ng COA yan. Sige, iwan mo yan.
Other thing that's seminar, okay? Ay, sir.
Kung repayment, kasi parang yan na yung wellness.
Hindi, yun nga. Kasi sa akin, kapag may seminar training ka, learning and development intervention na yan, automatic na yun. Ganun. Kasi may focus on. Marami nga pala tayong training na talaga, hindi naman talaga nagkakaroon ng learning and development.
Parang
Based on our impact analysis natin, no improvement.
Okay na.
Next item, manpower support personnel deployed in the PPA head office RCs and port management offices shall not be considered organic PPA personnel, neither will their assignment, neither will their assignment in the said RC establish an employee-employer relationship with PPA, nor be considered as valid service in the government.
Anong sabi ng Supreme Court regarding ganyan?
Void.
Next the contractor shall agree that their performance will be evaluated semi-annually. This is leaning to the contractor themselves, the service provider. They will be evaluated semi-annually if the provisions on their terms of reference are fully complied.
So kailan yan yung semi-annually na yan? Dahil yung isa, 6 months and month.
Who will
Diba?
evaluate?
6 months and 12 months. Eh dito,
HR, sir.
HR din po.
so yung semi-annually na yan, alang-alang naman sa dulo ng kontrata. So, 3rd month, 9th month.
Semi-annually, so...
Hindi kasi, okay, every 6 months, you're evaluating during the 6 months at the end of the contract. Eh, ba't ka mag-evaluate at the end of the contract kung nag-comply na sila ng terms of reference tapos na yung contract? Yun nga, so and when does the semi-annual come into play? Third and ninth?
Oo nga.
So iba yung semi-annually dyan, sa semi-annually ng performance evaluation ng personnel.
Pagka yung end na ng contract, pag-evaluate mo. Tapos na niya yun. Kahit na nakakainis siya, wala na. Tapos na nga naman mo.
We'll just specify in bullet 4 on their terms of reference, or if their terms of reference are fully complied, then on the 3rd month and 9th month. That's it po. That's the end of my slide. Thank you so much po. I
May
believe
question pa ako, Miss Alvin.
Oh, yes po.
Dun sa obligations to responsibilities, terms of reference for head office,
Yes po.
yung number 1, yung last sentence, likewise, kung meron kayong copy, number 1, obligations and responsibilities, last sentence, likewise, occupy positions may be vacated as an effect of the actual rationalization plan as discussed in the introduction. Pero pag binasa mo yung introduction, hindi mo naman mahanap doon yung rationalization plan. Hindi naman, parang hindi naman din nabanggit. So kung gano'n na hindi naman natin binanggit yung rationalization plan sa introduction, might as well tanggalin na lang din natin. Otherwise, i-discuss mo talaga sa introduction doon yung rationalization plan. Kasi ninyo, wala doon. Ako yung kailang pa hinahanap. Rationalization plan lang dito. Dun sa ano ma'am, sa obligations and responsibilities, TOR ng head office. Number 1, dun sa ano, effect of the rationalization plan as discussed in the introduction. Tapos sa introduction, hinahanap ko, parang wala naman.
Tanggalin ko na lang ma'am.
Hanggang doon na lang sa undertake.
Yes po. I'll just remove it all together. Likewise, occupied positions may be vacated as an effect of the approved rationalization plan. Thank you, attorney.
Ano naman yung actual detail? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I believe po Sir Froylan, Pedrola, has to, would be presenting the terms of reference specifically for the technical qualifications of the security cleaners po, which, upon your approval, would be merged together with this one. Thank you. I'll give the mic, sir. Thank
Isang
you.
point si Ange. Kala ni Ange mag-lunch na siya. Ikaw Ange na.
Human development.
Okay.
What? There are 6 feet below the ground after all.
Doon na siguro ano nang branch ko ba sa qualification sa
After nun.
sige.
Once na kumain ng council, sila mag-present. Once na kumain ng
COR na.
present.
I will help you.
Yes po, 1% lang. Yes po. Kaya po, if you notice po, nakasilagay sa COR, head office and court management offices. Just for presentation purposes po. But we have 4 copies.
Kaya kung magkakamukha naman lahat yun, oo kasi dito,
Wala namang
So, ang ano mo lang is yung qualification. Yung qualification sa
hindi pa ba ano?
Ito na siguro.
Yun, qualification standard. Yung mga requirements ng ano, mga requirements daw yung classes. Parang training requirements.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. So I'm discuss the terms of reference the security screening equipment operator. So since I will discuss na lang siguro itong obligations and responsibilities for the contractor and PPA. So for the contractor, shall deploy security screening machine operators as required for compliant with PPA qualification standard as enumerated in Annex A thereof. Provide at no expense on the part of PPA allocation for security training program for all security machine operators to be deployed under the contract, specifically 1. Security screeners officer course conducted by the Office for Transportation Security or its accredited institution. Bomb identifications and other deadly weapon detection seminar.
Sir, excuse lang po. If we are going to merge this with the, ano yung mga yung procurement, kanina sabi natin we are evaluating the firm. But now we are specifying some kind of qualification standard. So, paano yun? Paano natin mag-merge? Kasi sa JO natin, di ba, we are, yung firm, ang yan natin i-evaluate based on the POR. But if we are going to merge now with that, yung sa dito sa screeners, we are identifying the specific qualifications.
Yes.
So, how do we evaluate now? Yun lang.
Maglalagay siya ng CV, pagdating sa scanner, parang gano'n. Sabi ko, hindi.
Unless we will have it na tayo pa rin yung provide qualifications since we are the
Yes,
user. So, ganun pa rin,
Ito
no?
kasi parang yung ginawa niyo, parang pareho sa security.
Yes,
Na sila
yes.
mag-provide. Hindi naman sila nag-provide niya. Tayo magre-require niya.
Kaya nga,
Yes, yes sir. Kasi dapat before ang deployment nila, dapat na yung security screener operators nila magkaroon na ng ganitong klaseng mga itong seminar or training, security screeners officer course kasi nakita natin very important ito as yung sa mga screening, security
Hindi
screeners.
require natin, pero yung mga qualification standard, tayo kasi nag-endorse ng tao.
Yes sir. So part na rin ito sa ano natin sa qualification standard.
Hindi galing sa kanila yung tao. Yung set up kasi natin sa JO, tayo ang nagsasabi sa kanila, kukunin namin to. Hindi sila yung nagsasabi, may tao kami, kunin nyo.
Isama naman kaya natin sa security kanina. Kasi security din to.
Hindi kasi hinihiwalay nila, gusto na tayo may control sa tao. Security kasi sila nagpo-provide ng tao.
Kaya lang, kung i-parallel sir natin doon sa sa admin support.
Hindi, yun nga. Hindi tayo maglalagay na qualification dahil tayo ang magsasala kung may qualified o hindi. Kasi hindi naman sila yung nagpo-provide ng tao.
So,
Pero, pwede
na
lang
Hindi nila, hindi. Kasi I doubt kung kaya nila magbigay ng mga, yung number natin, mabigay tayo ng mga pangalan.
Kasi ito sir na nakita ko rin yung sa itong existing natin ngayon ng mga deployment sa security personnel. Marami diyan mga medyo mag-qualify din sa as itong security screening operator. Oo. For example dito sa sa
Hindi
mga
pero kasi dito, parang nire-require mo sila mag-submit ng list na may qualified sila.
O parang guard.
yes sir, o ganun sir.
Different na yung system natin sa outsourcing. Hindi sila yung nagpo-provide ng tao, tayo magsasabi kukunin natin. Dinadaanan natin sa kanila.
pwede rin siyang parang if we really want to merge this with that of the first presentation, we can. However, when we have already, may winning bidder ka na, so, ang mangyayari, sir, kayo yung magre-require kay service provider that we need these people as machine operator, provided that they will have the following qualifications.
Hindi sa simula pa lang.
Hindi sa simula pa lang. The same thing na ako, mag-hire ako ng statistician, for example, or encoder, I already have in my mind what qualification standards do I have to require before na sabihin ko kay service provider.
Pwede rin. Pwede rin ma'am. Itong
More often
later na lang itong
Ayun na lang, sir.
itong qualification, yung mga trainings. Later on na lang during pag nandito sa nakapasok na sila.
Yes, sir.
Pwede naman sir.
Kasi pag sinama natin yan sa TOR, hanapin natin yan during the day.
Yes.
During the week,
Pwede siguro natin itong yung so wala lang hindi na natin ito sama. Later on na lang pag nandiyan na sila sa
mahirapan sa evaluation, paano? Hindi siya standard. Oh, yung term talaga kung nakapasok yung the firm to provide the requirements. So, pagka na may winning, sir, saka mag-meet siguro, for this purpose of screening machine operators, we are strictly requiring this qualification.
pwede siguro ma'am, natin parang bigyan natin ng, for example, between 3 months during the deployment, doon siguro mag-provide na sila ng training sa itong sa security, yung mga operators nila.
Dapat standard siya with all other positions required. Yan yung way na to-urge.
So I will proceed ma'am. i-ano lang natin to, i-ano sa qualifications. And then comply with all labor laws. And then provide trainings to operators on customer relations for TC annotates accredited security awareness seminar workshop for personnel with security responsibilities within 3 months upon deployment. Submit to the PPA detailed reports of undertaking and unusual incidents and such other reports in accordance with the form and frequency prescribed by the Philippine Ports Authority. Make available at any reasonable time all documents related to the contract for inspection, examinations, and audit by PPA. And then assume reliability for any or all losses and damage for destructions to property or death, injuries sustained by the PPA, its employees, guests, passengers which are directly attributable to the negligence, fault, laxity, unlawful act or misconduct of the contractor or any of its officers or security screening machine operators. And then decrease such number of operators after due notice from the PPA. And then comply with all other applicable laws, ordinances, terms and conditions, and the contract and applicable rules and regulations promulgated by the PPA. And then pay taxes in full and on time, and that the failure to do so will entitle the PPA to suspend payment for any services delivered rendered by the contractor. And then comply with all provisions of the contract and contract documents. Non-compliance with or violence of any of its obligations and responsibilities shall be ground for rescission, cancellations, and or terminations of the contract after due notice. Post the required performance security in sufficient amount for the duration of the contract and in the form of cash, manager's check, or bond secured from a reputable insurance company duly accredited by the appropriate government agency to guarantee full performance and compliance with every stipulations, terms and conditions of the contract, and adjust the amount of the bond accordingly whenever the number of operators increase or decrease. Provide insurance coverage or pay for life insurance premium for its operators.
Sir, excuse po. Sir, yung po bang letter M na yan, provide insurance coverage, ano po ba sa guards natin yan? Nangyayari
Nangyayari din.
ganyan po provision.
Meron din.
Ang problema, sir, dito sa admin support, wala.
Pwede rin iyan
So, magiging ano po ba yan? Parang, specific, ano lang, parang peculiar lang sa kanila? O dapat natin silang i-equate dun sa admin support na wala? Siguro, sir, dapat natin consider kung parang ang category ba nila parang security guards pa din na may ganyan o nagiging parang more on civil na sila na parang admin support na wala silang ganyan.
Pero pwede kasi sa yung nature ng trabaho nila, medyo ano rin risk din kaya medyo inan lang din namin itong provision na to. Pero pwede naman din hindi natin sa outsource o yung sa ano natin.
O magiging peculiar na lang sa kanila yung
Oo,
talaga.
pwede naman.
Kasi sir, siguro sa mga security service provider, pangkaraniwan sa kanila to. Kaya lang kung ang mga contractor, ang magiging service provider, usually yung DBT service, LTP service, hindi. Ano yun, parang medyo peculiar sa kanila yung gano'n. Kung i-join natin kasi sa kanila, di ba? Very peculiar. Kaya yun sir, siguro isa sa mga consideration. I-join natin sila.
Sige ma'am, so the PPA shall award the contract for the provisions of security screening machine operators in the areas specified and approved for a period of 1 year to the lowest calculated responsive bidder.
Pareho pa ba yung contract mo for security screening machine? Hindi ba kasama na sa ano?
Ay, ano lang, na
Parang
medyo na.
pwede na siyang i-join.
Ay, pwede na i-join na. Yan.
Sa admin support?
Oo. And then, ensured availability funds. And then, exercise functional and operational supervision through the Port Police Division over the security screening machine operators deployed under the contract for its proper implementation. And then, provide in coordination with the contractor, ISPS code awareness or international ship for port facility security code, awareness training, port orientation briefings, and other pertinent security training updates to the operators under the contract. And then exercise visitorial power or conduct inspection or audit of the contractor's compliance with existing social legislations or provisions of the contract relating to the welfare of deployed under the contract. Ito, rights of the contractor and PPA. The contractor shall for financial collective fees and charges for services rendered as
Sir, ganito na lang. Sanji, sir, ako lang, yung recommendation ko lang, you review the first contract that we presented together with the comments and recommendations. And then, for each and every item, look for somehow how to integrate the needs of the security, sa security screen. O, parang lahat, everything is in general form. Tapos, maglagay na lang ng for purposes of machine, screening, machine, ganyan. Parang tuloy-tuloy din yung kasi pagka natin ito, parang separate siya. So, for each and every paragraph that we presented before, tingnan na lang kung saan pwede pumasok ng for this purpose, ano yung separate from the other positions required. Para isang merge na lang siya.
Tapos magbabago rin ang ABC. Hindi.
Kasama na nila yung kasama na siya sa ABC yung sa head office lang nung na-discuss yun yung walang security screeners. Pero doon sa mga PMO, meron eh. Sa budget lang din. Sa PMO lang yan.
PMO lang.
Sa head office kasi wala.
Wala tayo sa head
So,
office.
parang titignan na lang natin each and every paragraph. Tapos kung saan dapat ipasok.
So, dun sa nagawa mo natin ng ABC, wala mo dun sa...
Wala. Kaya ano ko doon, may mga operator sila ng vehicle. Hindi nakasin ko yung vehicle operator. Kasama dito. Parang super rin. May mga works sila sa
Pero sir, di ba operator or saan ba nakaano yung contract niya? Separate ba?
hindi ma'am, sa security. Na security sila. Parang security guard sila na nag-operate lang ng mga security equipment natin.
Parang, pwede naman i-merge nga yung sir, kaya yan, different positions na lang siya.
Oo.
So, tingnan na lang kung ano yung
Yung
specific na dapat lang i-add dun sa previous presentation.
parang magkano lang ng additional specific position, parang may mga additional lang na requirement. Oh. Like for example, itong ma'am sa itong issue 1 of film badge to cemetery. Yung na kinakailangan natin yung film badge as operator. Talagang kailangan din yan para pag ito manual service provider shall issue every operator with 2 film badge dosimeter per month for use during their operations to monitor cumulative radiation due to ionizing radiation. So yung parang
I don't know, is this the first time that we are going to merge this with the admin support?
Yes, ma'am.
Ito lang yung concern ko. This might be a different thing like yung 7.4 na yan. I don't know how the service provider deals. Baka kasi iba yung concentration pagdating sa operator kesa kasi security based ito eh. Yung isa, yung isa kasi more on admin support. So yun lang yung concern ko on how we go about it. Parang medyo north yung isa, south yung isa.
medyo iba kasi particularly itong sa screening, medyo marami rin i-consider natin.
Any other comments from the committee members?
Sige, yan natin.
After na lang po.
Ito yun ang ano ko. Oo.
Medyo concerned ako dahil this is a different area from lack of the subject
Subject to merge.
recommendations and
Magpe-present pa ba ulit niya? Another presentation pa ba?
I think hindi ko lang kasi ma-imagine how they present that. Kaya magtatagal pa yan, no?
Oo, kasi
So what
parang
is the
pinapamadali ka pa eh. Pinapamadali.
Maybe if we have
Like
another
only two.
Hindi, ano na lang
Another
circulate, ano na lang.
Ay, circulate na lang. O another person.
Ano ng PWG, para kayo kasi ang mag-evaluate. Marami. Sige, isang presentation.
Hindi, ang evaluation nito po yung katulad nung last time. Yung land bank, Palavera, gano'n. Na magulo, gano'n. Magulo. Magulo talaga.
Dito kasi may ano na po, may... Hindi, yun yung evaluation. Sige,
Pero sa akin,
another presentation. There will be another pre-pro, but concentrating on what we have recommended, the recommendations, the suggestions of these.
Doon lang kita yung mga ibang topics na.
Especially this one, how do we bridge it?
Okay.
Paki-highlight lang, when you present it again, kindly highlight how you merge it into the previous presentation of the office.
Okay. Sure, Roland and I will work on that one.
Yes.
Presented.
So, subject to the subject to the recommendations, suggestions, and other details of the contract, the TOR will be presented again on the specified date that will be given by the bank secretary. So, are there any other matters? Sorry.
None, Madam Chair.
So, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pero sir, ito naman po yung schedule ko sa akin po.
Oh, yan.
Sinend niyo sa akin.
Oo.
Sige po, try na.
Oo.
Tapos tingnan mo po, bigyan mo ko rin ng tingnan mo po.
Sige.
Work para sa
Yun ang magkapatid eh, yung recognize at kaya, trainer.
Sabi ko muna, no? Kaya naman mag-isa ng pag-work.
Sa Pilipinas, sinala na daw.